get your kinfolk who are hanging out over on the YouTubes and the Twitch. Let's get them in here. Let's get all the lovely people that's over on the YouTubes and the Twitch. Let's get them in. What up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? And let's get Instagram in here as well. And get everybody in here. Get everybody in here. Guys, if you don't mind, keep tapping the screen, share the live. Can we get the likes up to 8,000 likes? Also, send your daily heart me. It's only 1 coin. It'll boost the live and push us out to the FYP. I hope everyone is having a great morning. Great morning. Here in Washington, Washington State, it's championship day. The Seahawks have their parade. It's in downtown Seattle, and I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna check out the Seahawks victory parade, just because I've never been a part of anything like that, and I think it's a cool opportunity. So I'm gonna go check them out. So that should be fun. What up, Joey? All right, guys, I'm gonna keep tapping the screen and I'm gonna reset the daily gift goal. We can knock those out a couple of times. It'll push us out to the FYP. So guys, I wanted to shift the topic that we're debating, and the reason being is kind of stemmed from a couple of conversations that I had yesterday, and then even more so, what I've been noticing. And a couple of things that I've noticed is that America's sick, or why is America sick? And I said America's sick because white privilege, first and foremost. Easy. And you know, the most interesting thing for me about white privilege is people don't understand that they have white privilege, and like that's white privilege. But U.S. exceptionalism, it's really American exceptionalism, but like U.S. exceptionalism is like a really hard thing to put on the background because it takes up too much space. MAGA's violent. I think that's an easy one. I think that's an easy dub. The left self-sabotaged. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you don't have to run that by me. Like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you know, like, you know, me and you, we're like Bonnie and Clyde, we're gonna ride together. So whatever. Sorry, guys, I got sidetracked. The left self-sabotages, and I see that from like, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention as far as what happens in Texas with Jasmine Crockett and James Tellerico. But early voting has started, polling has started, and Jasmine Crockett has started to run circles around James Tellerico. And when I say circles, I mean like circles. Polling shows that Jasmine Crockett is leading 47% to 39%. But not only that, polling shows that Jasmine Crockett versus either Republican candidate that may win, not even close. Not even close, right? So I think that's super interesting because a lot of people try to convince us that Jasmine Crockett wasn't viable. They tried to convince us that Jasmine Crockett wasn't viable because Kamala Harris didn't win the 2024 presidential election. So I think all of that's super interesting. But a couple of things that I really like that's really hit home, and it highlights the things that I have on the background. There's a story that occurred yesterday, and I looked this up, right? And the story is about a MAGA dad. There's a MAGA dad who got into an argument with his daughter about Donald Trump, and then killed his daughter and the dog. which is wild, right? Like, he took the life of his daughter after arguing about Donald Trump. And then he killed the dog. And so BBC ran a story about it, talking about it, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but I think it highlights the fact that the right is absolutely violent. And while I always expect the right to be violent, right? I mean, like, you can see from the way that people perpetuate violence, even on this app. Yesterday, I was on a live, and I had some weirdo come on the live multiple times, and like on different accounts, and I'm not even going to repeat what he said, but he was absolutely perpetuating violence towards me, and I'm not afraid, but it showed who they are, right? And after reading this story about the dad that actually killed his daughter for talking about Trump and then killed the dog, the only question that I have for people on the right, especially like white men that are on the right, the only question that I really have is, what did the dog do?
You stepped in the box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in shame. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats and get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey,
Step in if you dare. Truth hit hard like a punch in the air.
ain't no
rules, no plan, no script.
one wrong
move, get cooked real quick.
No
cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. I don't care what you claim or your background.
Hey.
Facts only if not get clapped down. Whether you're left or right
or you don't even
vote. If your logic is weak,
I'll sink your boat. Hey.
You talk slick, but you ain't got source. Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force. I'm the test, the trap, the trip, the call.
Hey.
You slip once, I'm snatching it all.
Boom.
Step in if you dare. You dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. Yeah. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. No. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Step in if you dare. You dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. Yeah. This ain't a safe place.
It is not.
This is flame space.
It absolutely is.
Don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana.
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana, and guys, we are looking for some debates. So if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. We are only looking for some debates. And I saw you guys down in the chat, and I didn't mute you. Not yet. But that's because I did not lay out the rules of the live. And the rules of the live are, we don't do thumb thugs. We don't do keyboard warriors. Listen, your heart pumps Kool-Aid. And until you actually get the testicular fortitude to get in the box, you don't get to yip yap in my chat. Hey, Vivian. My chat is for the wonderful, beautiful people that smell like roses, that wake up every morning and wash their face, brush their teeth, and say something kind about themselves. My chat is for the people that actually are on the right side of the history. But if you are someone for some reason that thinks that I'm going to argue with you from the chat, you got me fucked up. Like this person right here, bad boy is always right. I literally don't care about what you're saying in the chat. I don't. Like, you could be saying whatever the fuck it is you think you want to say in the chat, and I'm going to mute you because I don't argue with the chat. I don't. So whatever you have to say from the chat is absolutely Casper the friendly ghost to me, because I can't see it. I can't see it. With that being said, if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box, because we are only looking for some debates. Why is America sick? I know exactly why America is sick. America is sick because of white privilege. Period. White privilege is absolutely something that has harmed America in so many different ways, and it continues to actually plague the country. Nate G123, I don't give a shit about Sleepy Joe, and I also don't care about you actually commenting in my chat. Get in the box. Get in the box. US or American exceptionalism. Listen, you guys, for some reason, people think America is just like fucking number one. But outside of the GDP and the military, tell me something that we're number one in. That's a positive thing, because I can list a shit ton of things that we are number one in, but it's not positive. Help me with that one. Ryan the Legend, again, I don't argue with the comments, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, but Bub, get up here, get in the box. If you got questions, come up here. I refuse to answer your questions from the comments. I don't do that. MAGA, they're violent. The right is overwhelmingly violent. The right is overwhelmingly violent. Killings in Chicago, 3 to 5 a day. Okay, what does that mean to me? I bet you it's all white men. Raccoon 832. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. Come up here and tell me about it. As a matter of fact, I'll send you an invite because you got your invites. Come on. I bet you can't tell me who actually perpetuates the most violent crime in America, period. Every single category, leads every single category in violent crime. Bet you can't tell me. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't care about your thumb thugging. The left, listen, the left, we are not absolved. We're not excused. There's a purity test that always happens, and it's super weird. And it seems like more so than recently, people on the left are more willing to throw Black women under the bus, while Black women have driven the party and has created the most amount of success. And hell, others have benefited off of the back of those Black women, but also for some reason, people think that they have this moral high ground, and they try to justify the morality and say like, well, you're not left enough. You're not strong enough on this issue. You're not this or you're not that. And that's why we keep fucking losing, because of the purity test. Last but not least, the patriarchy. The patriarchy is absolutely one of the most harmful things, if not the most harmful things that we have ever experienced. And it's super harmful because it disenfranchises people on multiple levels, right? It disenfranchises each and every person that is not a white man, period. That's how the patriarchal system works. So these are the reasons why America is sick. And until we actually address these issues, nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. We are not gonna see a better country. We're not gonna see any type of progression. We will not have the country that we deserve until we address these issues. So if you disagree with anything on the background, or you're a Trump supporter, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates. And I've seen Trump supporters already in the comments. I've been on it. My mod's been on it. Guys, listen, if you want to actually get into any type of conversation, you're not going to be able to do it from the comments. You're not. We will not let you run your mouth from our comments. And Creed, you can get out of my request. I would never have you up here on my platform. Bye-bye. I don't even know why you think that I would ever have you up here. Like, I'm so confused. So confused. That's weird. You're weird. So in the meantime, in between time, as we wait on anyone that disagrees with anything on the background, there's a couple other things that I want to talk about. A couple other things that I think is super important to talk about. And one thing that I absolutely have to talk about is another special election. You said request Bill. I don't know who Bill Nye. I'm sure that's Creed as well. I'm not bringing no. I'm positive that's Creed too. Go be weird somewhere else. I refuse. I don't understand what's happening, but go be weird somewhere else. Like I was saying, one other super important thing that I want to talk about is the a special election victory that occurred yesterday, right? Democrat Elizabeth Bennett Parker defeated Republican Julie Lindbergh in Virginia State Senate District 39 special election. This was a hold, right? This was a hold. Now, the interesting thing about the hold, it's another win for another special election for the left. This continues a trend that has occurred where the left has overwhelmingly won general elections and special elections ever since Donald Trump took power. And this speaks to where we are as a country. It speaks to how things have shifted, and they've completely shifted away from Donald Trump, and the fact that at this point, he can't win. The Republican Party can't win. They know for a fact that they can't win elections anymore. But there's more. 1 second, though.
Hi, guys. From Syria, I need the help.
No. Guys, please only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Please, please, please only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Who is this? Dunk? I'm going to go ahead and mute you. I don't care about what you're saying in the comments, but I will say get up here in the box. I don't understand. You guys go through the process of typing out a paragraph, but if you're afraid to get in the box. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
Hey.
Okay. I'm going to block you because I don't like trolls. You're not funny and you're disrespecting the actual boundaries of the live. Please don't do that. It's super weird. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. Eric, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
Yeah, I kind of do disagree with some things in the background, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Eric, before we go too far, before we get started, I have a quick question for you.
Okay.
Do you know who I am?
Broadly.
Okay.
Really.
All right. No. All good. Would you mind if I give you a quick introduction to not only who I am, but what this is?
For sure.
All right. Perfect. 1 moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. Guys, I am Santana, and I am only looking for some debates. So if you support Donald Timothy Trump or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. America, why is America sick? I know why America's sick. America's sick because of white privilege, American exceptionalism, MAGA, the right, they're violent, the left, they eat themselves, and the patriarchy has been a plague on each and every person. So, Eric, you said that you disagree with something on the background. What exactly do you disagree with?
Yes, I would like to go one by one, but let's start at the top, white privilege. So I just want to see your point. Why do you think there is white privilege? I don't think there is white privilege in America. why do you think there's white privilege?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I can definitely give you that information. Question for you before we go too far, Eric. What's your race?
I am Mexican.
Okay. Mexican isn't a race.
I don't know what race is.
Okay.
I don't know. I be getting asked that, and I just don't know. Like,
okay.
Hispanic. I don't know.
Hispanic isn't a race either.
Yeah.
So, how about this? Before I tell you why, I think white privilege is something that has plagued the country. It seems like we might not be starting on the same level. And so I don't want to go too far or do too much, especially if I need to pull back on some things. You start. Tell me why you don't think white privilege is a thing.
Okay, well, I don't think that white privilege is a thing because everybody has the same equal opportunity. Maybe not everybody started off in the same place, but everybody has the same opportunity to grow, especially coming from parents of immigrants. They came here with absolutely nothing, and they're doing really good right now.
Okay. All right. Okay. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 19.
19. What part of the country do you live in? You don't have to tell me what city, but like what state?
New York.
New York. Okay. All right. Let's help you with this race thing first. Race, it's a social construct that is accepted based off of phenotypical characteristics. It was created for the othering of non-white people to create a free and cheap labor class, right? I mean, that's race. So there's a difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality. Your race is how you present to the world based off of your phenotypical characteristics. So, Eric, when people look at you, even though you say that you are, Hispanic, would you say that when people look at you, they more so see a white person, a Black person, an indigenous person? What exactly, like if someone who didn't know you and they just like saw you from a distance, what would they think that you are?
See, that's why I never understood race, because it's like, I don't think they see any of them, but I think, which one was the second one you said?
White person, Black person, indigenous.
Indigenous, maybe indigenous, I would say.
Okay. You don't have camera access. So
I mean, I'm not trying to sound dumb, but
no. Well, also, please don't say the DUMB. That's a ableist term. We don't use that here. But I'm just trying to help you out because, like a lot of people, and which I get it. Like you're not in the same. I mean, like you're not by yourself. A lot of people don't know the difference, and then kind of like identifying what your race is kind of hard without like seeing you and seeing your phenotypical characteristics. So, but you would say that you look more indigenous, like, so you have like a brownish,
yeah, definitely,
like a brownish red skin, maybe like your eye shape, your lips, your nose, your hair. What is that like?
Yeah, the skin is definitely brownish. Everything else, I wouldn't know what to say to that. But I would like to ask, like, how is that going to tie back into all of that?
Yeah, it's helping me actually build this conversation. The one thing that I don't like is like having a conversation and not really being able to speak directly to what we're talking about. And a lot of times, and I'm just going to keep funking with you. A lot of white people try to take a disingenuous stance and saying like, there's no such thing as white privilege. I'm Black and I don't believe it. And they're really not. I digress. Let's dig into it a little bit more then. Let's just go from there. So you're indigenous. White privilege is the ability to move throughout society and not have to conform to society in any way, shape, or form. It is literally society conforming around you. And we see that in a sense that here in America specifically, white people often have things adjusted based off of not only their preference, but who they are. You could take a look at like some of the most important key indicators within our society, like with health, right? Do you know what BMI is?
BMI? No.
Okay. BMI, that's a health index. It talks about like your body mass index, blah, 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 it's all this other stuff. That actual template is created based off of white men, right? So not necessarily individuals or like how different races, like the different things that present themselves within different races, but it's specifically everyone conforms to white men. Or like, you know what a crash test dummy is?
Yes.
Okay. So those actual test dummies are something that it's based off of the body and frame of white men. And so more often than not, they don't do secondary testing to account for women. And so when they're checking the actual, like, you know, how safe or effective is this vehicle, the seatbelt, all this other stuff, they don't take in account the difference as far as men versus women and all this other stuff. So the point that I'm trying to get across is a lot of time you see the rest of the world conforming around white people as a whole versus white people adjusting. There's also a great study that was completed, and I can pull it up and give you the information about a study. The study was completed that showed, I don't know if you ever noticed this, if you're out walking, right, and you see someone in front of you and you guys are walking towards each other, what do?
Well, the right thing is to go to the right.
Okay, so you try to move, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. One second, sorry. I should have had this up. 1 second. Sorry. All right. So the study was completed by the University of Toronto, Media Room, but it was also backed up with a couple of other different studies, and you can take a look at eurekalert.org, and then also the Association of Psychology Studies, right? But the study shows, like, there was a brain activity study that was completed, right? And the brain activity study showed the difference as far as like how people brains react when they see other people or where they see objects, right? And the study was based off of the fact that like when like Black people or non-white people, when they see people, their brain registers them as people. And so when they're walking, they move, right? Because it's people seeing other people. But the study that was completed in the scans on certain white people, or on white people, their brains, it showed that when they are walking and if they see anyone that is not white, the actual like messages or whatever that flash through their brain, it's the same type of reaction as seeing an object, not a person, right? And so that's why a lot of times where you may see like white people, and you know, anyone that's in the chat that's non-white, you may have experienced this, but there'll be white people walking and they walk directly to you and you're moving and they're not moving because their brain actually registers anyone that's not white as an object versus an actual person. So
All right.
This is something that, like I said, overall, this all wraps into the premise of white privilege and how the rest of society has to conform around white people versus white people living in society and working with society.
All right, I want to say two things first. Can I, what was that study again?
There's a couple of different studies that has been completed.
What's it called?
The University of Toronto Media Room, the brain recognizes and reacts to race. But there were a couple other studies that were completed. I'm trying to find the one that I really like from There was one completed from Cambridge. Give me 1 second. Let me find that one because that one was more detailed and that one was more up to date.
Okay, well, while you do that, I just want to go back to your other point about how they conform, like BMI and that stuff. Well, for the crash test dummies, I do think that, you know, they should have more variety, like men and women. But just like how they don't do it for women, I don't think for example, for like BMI, that they don't expand it to others because it is like a majority white country. So
what do you mean?
Like the United States just majority white, so they're just gonna use what the majority of people are. That's why BMI, it may be outdated, maybe it should be fixed, but it was just specifically towards whites because it is a majority white country.
I'm so confused. So you're saying that the justification for BMI specifically is because of the history of the country. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it's not really much of a privilege. It's just that, I mean, do you think we should just do BMI for every single race?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about health and medicine and something that is more so on an individual basis, but like, you know, there's certain traits or characteristics that exist within different races or groups of people versus just everyone. And so having a generalized scale that everyone has to track towards, where not everyone body is tuned to that scale, like that's not optimal, right? Like if everyone's body isn't set to like be this height and this weight based off of like genetics, then why should we judge everyone's body off of this standard? That's the point that I'm getting to.
Okay, so you think in white privilege as in like, I don't know how to say stuff like that, but like, what about an opportunity? Do you think there's?
I mean, we're just scratching the surface. Yeah, like opportunity as well. I mean, that's one of the reasons why throughout the history of our country, we've had to create and force ways for other non-white people to get opportunities because of white privilege. Like literally, that was what affirmative action was birthed from. And that's why there's been such a massive push towards DEIA, in recent years. And even more so, like with this current administration, there's been a complete dismantling of DEIA. It's all because DEIA flies directly in the face of white privilege.
Well, yeah, DEI, well, what's DEIA?
Yeah. You don't know what the A is, and I don't want to go into that because you're gonna call it DEI and you're gonna think it's about race and all this other stuff.
Okay, so never mind about that. But someone said that you know, I'm claiming that their existence is less valuable because of location. I am saying that, you know, maybe you are right. Maybe we should, like, when it comes to health, do something that includes all of them. But I'm just saying, before, the reason why maybe it started off as that, why stuff like that, healthcare was majority white, is because the country is just majority white. But maybe, yeah, we should expand it to other. Now that we live in a very diverse country, we should probably diverse it.
Sure. Hey, Athena.
Hey, Santana. Sorry, I
Hello.
had a hard time not muting. So can I say something, by the way? Yeah, BMI is not only used within the US or majority white countries, right? BMI is something that is endorsed and also used by like the World Health Organization, for example. It's used by national health services, like, for example, within the UK, the NHS, and it is used in a lot of ministries of health across the world. And that is the issue. When you use which, by the way, BMI was never designed to be used as like a diagnostic medical tool, because it was developed primarily only for white European men by this Belgian person. I forgot what their name was. Kitlet, Adolphe Kitlet or something like that, right? So it was developed specifically as like a population level measure for white European men. So when you use white European men specifically as the standard, the default, and then apply a statistical measure that was developed centering white men, and then apply that to populations around the world, specifically ignoring bone densities of different populations, fat distribution of different populations, the muscle mass of different populations, that actively causes harm because it's not taking other societies into account. And that is literally what white privilege is, by the way, within the sciences, within medicine. Whiteness being taken as the standard, and then creating these global colonial and imperial knowledge systems where whiteness is the standard, and then it makes it seem as if white people's bodies are the default universal human body, when that is not the case.
So you're saying there's white privilege not just in America but all around the world?
100%.
Okay.
Global basis, even on the even in countries where white people are not the majority, yes, they benefit from white privilege on a global scale.
Yeah. The only reason I had been speaking about America, of course, is because I'm in the United States, but I would be remiss, and I'm so glad that Athena brought this up, and it's absolutely something that we see throughout the entire globe, even though white people are not the majority throughout the entire globe. The conformance around whiteness is something that is global. So there's that. One other thing I want to call out really quickly. So this is super interesting. I'm glad I looked this up. The original study was done by Harvard in 2003, and if you're interested, so it's called The Brain Shows Unconscious Prejudices, and it talks about like the neural scans that were completed, and in white people versus black people and what they see, and objects and stuff like that. But then it was followed up with a study that was completed in 2009 by the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and they talked about the neural correlations of race and how those things connect. But also last year, there was a great but a study that was a continuation that was completed by Columbia University in September of 2025 called Racial Stereotypes Can Make Us See Weapons Where They're Not. And it talks about like the way that the brain registers race, and then also like danger and fear and all this other stuff. And so like all of these things are connected as far as like when I talk about the way that not only the society see non-white people, but the way that white people and their brain unconsciously sees everything and everyone else that isn't white. So like those are a couple of things that are connected as well, Eric.
So for that study, is that just something that it's just inside of them, or is that something that they learn?
As far as like the studies that were their biases, you know what an actual bias is, or unconscious bias?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're unconscious biases. It's the way that society has geared the school of thought, and also how it's continued to perpetuate and uphold certain things that shift people in that direction. So, yeah.
So if there's white privilege, what do you think could be done then about that?
Well, I mean, as far as what can be done, this is going to be the thing that I say about like most things. And when it comes to privilege, because white privilege isn't the only privilege that exists in society, but if you ever talk about like, how do you address those issues with privilege? It starts with the people that have the privilege. And see, that's why I started with like, hey, what's your race? There's nothing that you can do to dismantle white privilege. White privilege has to be dismantled by white people. The people that have privilege have to be willing to give up their privilege in order to gain equality. And that's the only way that we can have any type of shift or go in the right direction. And it starts by white people acknowledging white privilege, and then actively trying to fight against things that white privilege negatively causes.
Also, whiteness needs to cease to exist in order for white privilege also not to exist. Whiteness as a construct. right?
Mhm.
Because in order to uphold whiteness, you also have to uphold racism. And that racism is what is creating white privilege. The only reason white people have white privilege is because other groups of people are being disenfranchised. And if you want to get rid of white privilege, you have to get rid of racism. And if you want to get rid of racism, you have to dismantle whiteness, because without racism, whiteness ceases to exist. And without whiteness, racism ceases to exist.
So it all starts with racism?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
So do you think there's always going to be, let's say the white people do something about it, do you think there is still going to be racism in the world?
Well, when I'm talking about racism, specifically oppression based on race, that is upheld by white people, right? That's upheld by a rate. Like, yes, other people can participate in being tools of racism, but ultimately the people, the institutions that are upholding racism are the ones that uphold whiteness, okay, on a global scale, stage. But dismantling racism does not mean that other forms of oppression would be automatically dismantled, because there is oppression based on gender. There's oppression based on if you're able-bodied or if you're a person with disabilities. There are all other forms of oppression as well that are intertwined, yes. But tackling racism would largely get rid of the racial disparities, basically, because we're talking specifically about racism.
Yeah.
And yes,
And
racism would get, sorry, yeah.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Racism would get dismantled if we dismantle whiteness, yes.
And that's why I said, like, there's many forms of privilege that exist, and the only way to deal with those privileges is by having the people who have said privileges lead the charge against them. Like, that's the only way that it can happen.
Okay, so I do kind of agree on you with the fact that maybe, we shouldn't use white as like a permanently, like the base on how to like, for example, BMI, like it shouldn't be just white. Maybe we should apply it to some other people. But what about in opportunities? You said that whites have more opportunities than other races. White people have more opportunities than other races. Why is that? I don't believe that. I think everybody has the same opportunity.
Okay. The reason why I say that is because society has been geared towards whiteness, as Athena just stated. But the actual construct, and I like to talk about the United States of America, but Athena has the global perspective, and we can always talk about that as well. But you take a look at throughout the history of our country, and when you look at the establishment of the United States of America, the United States of America Constitution, when it was first written, the only people that had rights were white men that own land, right? And so from that point, everyone else has been given rights. And with those rights that have been given, they weren't just freely given. Like, they're literally rights that people had to fight and die for. Like black people had to fight and die to be considered like people here within the United States. And even more so, just to not only be declared as people, but then to have, rights as people. Women had to fight and die for the right to vote. Like, there's been so many other things throughout our society where people weren't just like given equal opportunities. And when you look at how things actually exist today, you can take a look at the disparities when it comes to, like, the wealth gap, home ownership. Do you know what redlining is?
Redlining. Vaguely.
Okay. Redlining is a practice. I'm going to give like a super high level overview of it, but basically it's a practice of ensuring that, bank loans and opportunities aren't given to non-white people to keep areas segregated in certain ways. And it's literally just like racist practice based off of ensuring that certain areas don't change demographics, right? And one way that you see this persist is, like, let's say there are two people that come into a bank to get a home loan, right? And the people have the exact same qualifications. They have the same credit score, same like background, history, deposit, like all the things stack up side by side, right? And the way that redlining persists is that just because you're white, you're given the home loan versus the black person, not because there's any more qualifications, not because there's anything that differs, but just because you're white. And that's something that has persisted throughout the history of our country. If you had to guess, when would you say the last time a major bank was successfully sued for redlining?
I'd say definitely like the late 1900s.
Okay, no. 2024, 2025, banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Navy Federal Credit Union, all of these banks engaged in redlining and were successfully sued for redlining. This is something that is not, far distant history. This is something that we literally deal with today, and it's a constant battle that we continue to actually to go uphill in battle, right? So it's something that, it's perpetuated through opportunities. You could talk about like within finance, you can talk about within education. Hell, you can keep it super simple and talk about like how white people have a better chance of just life when it comes to childbirth. And Athena, I'll pass this one to you because you explain the infant mortality rates like far better than I ever could. But like even when it comes to childbirth, coming out of the womb, white people have more of an advantage than black people.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So the black newborns are up to 3 times more likely to die during childbirth than white newborns. And that number statistically decreases by 32 to 59%, I think, when a black doctor takes over. Whereas for a white newborn, their mortality rate is not dependent on the race of the doctor. So regardless of if it's a black doctor or a white doctor, their mortality rate does not really change. But when it comes to a black newborn, their mortality rate changes depending on who the doctor is. I did want to ask you one question though, Eric. When you say equal opportunity, do you mean legally equal or do you mean materially equal?
Legally, because I do know what he's saying. Like, I did want to ask, like, so is it the inequality just because of the late start that people had, that, white people just had everything in the beginning and, other races just didn't? Is that the inequality?
I'll follow up with you and answer any questions later, but please finish engaging specifically with what Athena's saying. I want to be on her to be able to finish that.
Yeah. So if 2 people have equal legal rights, but one grows up with better schools, safer neighborhoods, and inherited wealth, is their opportunity really the same?
Say that again.
If 2 people have equal legal rights, but one grows up with better schools, safer neighborhoods, and inherited wealth, is their opportunity really the same?
No, if you say like that, no.
Okay. So then we can acknowledge that legal equality and material equality is not the same, because even if the law technically, quote unquote, on its surface level, can pretend as if people are formally equal, legal equality doesn't automatically produce equal opportunity, though, if wealth, schools, and networks are unequal.
But everybody can have the same chance to go to a good school.
No, not true.
How's that?
If a person doesn't have, let's say, are you telling me that, let's say, do you think being born into a wealthy family and a poor family offers the same opportunities?
No.
Okay, so then you already conceded there's an inequality
but that's
of
not based on
opportunity.
race. That's just based on.
It is actually. It's very racialized. Because historically, I'll tell you, historically,
a wealthy black person can have
Can you let Athena finish her sentence before you hop in and try to whatever? Sorry, go ahead, Athena.
No problem. So when we look at even just generally like the median outcome, the median white household wealth is multiple times higher than the median black household wealth. And wealth affects neighborhood quality. It affects school funding. It affects ability to even pay for college. It affects down payments on homes. It affects access to capital for business. It affects ability to weather emergencies, right? So if two children are being born with dramatically unequal inherited wealth, they do not begin with equal opportunity. And when we come and Santana just talked about Citigroup, right? He just talked about how that banking group themselves talked about how they discriminated against Black Americans when it came to loan allocation, which ultimately led to the American economy losing $16 trillion in 2 decades, right? So when you're talking about wealth gaps, which are very much measurable and they're historically traceable because of redlining, because of employment discrimination, housing discrimination, loan allocation discrimination, exclusion from the GI Bill, yes, it becomes very, very racialized, which is precisely why median white household wealth is multiple times higher than median Black household wealth. Do you disagree with that?
No.
Okay. So when people are when wealth or people are disproportionately represented in poverty, and it's specifically people who are not white, specifically people who are, let's say, Black or Indigenous or people of color, then even when you talk about classism or when you talk about unequal outcomes when it comes to wealth, then that becomes racialized. Because the reason as to why certain communities are disproportionately poor or disproportionately have a lower medium household wealth is because of racism.
Okay. I will agree, especially with the bank thing. Like there are gonna be times where there is gonna be racism. You know, if a Black person goes into the bank and they don't get approved because they're Black, that's just a racism thing. But that's just not a whole thing on the whole.
Wait, that's literally not an individual thing. Like there's multiple studies and history and track record. Like this isn't like a one-off or an individual thing. Like the reason why I cited these major banks is because it's happening at the highest level. There's other banks like mid-size and small banks that engage in the exact same thing. It's just the bigger banks are, of course, noticeable, and we can call those out. So sitting here and say, it's an individual thing. That's not even the case, and even more so, like Athena just pointed to the entire study that was completed by Citibank Group, as far as the country overall losing out on $16 trillion $16 trillion due to racism. Right. So like this isn't an individual thing, and this is just one sector. I mean, we're only talking about the financial sector. You see these same type of things exist within the healthcare. You see these same type of things exist within like education. Like it persists in multiple areas, and it's not like one-offs. Like literally, you look at the way that our society is constructed and how like access to advancement, health, or just living standards quite often depend on just your race.
Yeah, and also like when we look at lending data, like according to the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, Black applicants are denied conventional home loans at significantly higher rates than white applicants. And this disparity even persists after controlling for income, right? Which means higher income Black applicants still face higher denial rates than lower income white applicants. And this doesn't only apply to mortgage loans. When you look at business loans as well, Black owned businesses are more likely to be denied loans. And when they're approved, they often receive smaller amounts, and they're also more likely to receive higher interest or less favorable terms. When we look at auto loans and interest rates as well, Black borrowers are more likely to receive higher interest rates than similarly situated white borrowers. And this is, by the way, has been documented across the board. So my question is there any aspect in society where Black people don't fare worse than white people?
Where Black people don't fare worse?
In any aspect of society, anything that impacts any Black people.
Black people could do. They can do anything.
No, that's not what I asked. I said, is there
Exactly.
any aspect within society where Black people don't fare off worse than white people?
No.
Okay.
Where would that be?
So if Black people consistently in every single aspect of society on a global scale fare off worse than white people, why are we pretending that that is situational or a coincidence and not a pattern or a structure that is creating these disparities?
I would say maybe. I mean, it just all goes back to there is just going to be blatant racism. I would like to ask though.
Wait, it's not about blatant racism though. You're making it seem as if it's individual. That's the issue that I have. Because if it's individual, it would be situational, which means there would be some instances where white people get it. There'd be some instances where Black people get a higher, like a leg up. Some instances where white people are disadvantaged. That would be what you're saying. If there's just individual racist white people or just racism just happens to exist without a pattern, then the disparities would have been situational and not consistent. But I'm telling you right now, Eric, consistently in every single field on a global scale, Black people fare off worse than white people. And that actually debunks your argument of it being situational.
That's what I'm saying. The pattern is that it is just racism towards Black people.
Yes. So if it's racism towards Black people that is producing these racial disparities on a global scale in every aspect of life, then it's not individual but systemic.
Is the opportunities for what about other races? What about other races? Is it just majority that Black people are getting attacked, or is it other races?
I don't exactly know where you're trying to go with this, and I don't want to like put a focus on other races. I mean, the emphasis is on white privilege, and we're talking about like the effects of white privilege. But even more so, I would like for you to actually like substantiate anything. So far it's been like a ton of questions, and you haven't given anything that's like based in facts around why you don't think white privilege exists. It's just been, Black people can do anything, and are there any examples or whatever? Can you give me anything of substance that would actually validate your premise that like white privilege doesn't exist?
Well, I want to start off with I'm also trying to just learn. I don't know if that's okay. That's why I'm asking a lot of questions.
Yeah,
that's why I say I think sometimes no, because I want to learn more so I can say I know.
I get that, but also what I absolutely need in order for us to really be able to make this fruitful is not just have it being just a complete learning experience, because if it's a complete learning experience, then you learn from the comments, but you have to be able to substantiate your belief and ground it in reality based off of some level of facts in order for us to properly challenge it. And so if you don't have anything that we can properly challenge based off of facts, then it is just completely, you don't know these things and we're teaching you. That's why even when I start off and I said, what's your race, and you couldn't properly articulate what your race was, I said that this was going to be a little bit tough. And so while I do appreciate you being inquisitive and even the back and forth, I do want to make sure that we are actually dealing with, someone who can add more substance versus just well, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Okay,
that's the only
fair.
thing that I'm saying.
Just a bit more then. The reason why I asked about other races is because if there is white privilege, do you think it affects all the races or just one race?
White privilege is based off of white people. And so anyone that does not have access to white privilege is disenfranchised in some way, shape, or form or the other. That boils down to like the patriarchy and where people fall within the different intersects. And, you know, white men sit at the very top of that pyramid, and then everyone else is ranked below within society based off of the patriarchal system. So depending on how far you are from, you know, being a white man depends on how far you are disenfranchised.
Okay,
And
so,
how close in proximity you are to blackness means you are then more disenfranchised, because when race was being created, that hierarchy, whiteness and blackness exist in relation to one another. So whiteness is everything blackness isn't, blackness is everything whiteness isn't, right? So if whiteness is on top of the hierarchy, blackness is at the bottom of the hierarchy, every other race is in between. And then depending on your close proximity to whiteness, you get advantage. Depending on your proximity to blackness, you get disadvantaged.
okay, so I will definitely learn more about this. I did want to ask though, is what's behind you all the things we could talk about, or could we talk about something else? Because I know that you have a different opinion than me on something else.
What's that something else you want to
On immigration. I feel like I could talk about immigration more, but if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
What about immigration?
Like, I see that you say that we should abolish ICE, right? I don't think that. Like, we're opposite point of view. Like,
tell me what you think.
see, I think that while I do agree that maybe the efforts that ICE is in right now, the condition that ICE is in right now, maybe it's not the best. We should fight for ICE to have better, better conditions right now. They shouldn't have to be breaking into homes like how they're doing right now without a warrant. But we do need ICE as a whole. We do need immigration. We do need to be able to have no illegal immigrants coming into our country.
Okay, undocumented immigrants. So what's your justification for like not having undocumented immigrants in the country, or even more so, what's your justification for like mass deportation?
It was touch and go, but I found it back to it's just I want to make sure that everybody who comes here is just going to support America no matter what. Now, I know that there are Americans that may not like America. They don't support it and do it. But in the end, if something were to go down, they would just have to fight for America. Being American citizens, they would have to fight for America no matter what. Rather than an immigrant coming here, they have no loyalty to America. They could. So I would say there are some immigrants that want to make a difference. They do come here that they want to make a difference. But unfortunately, we just don't know that. Because maybe they say they want to come here for a difference, and then we have to fight for America, and then they would just go back to wherever country there is, because they're not willing to fight for America. They're just willing to take the opportunities of America.
So you think we need ICE to have mass deportation because of some hypothetical war where America would have to be defended, and the people that are here wouldn't defend America, they would actually leave America?
Definitely not mass deportation to say, but if they do have someone that is undocumented, they should send them back.
If there was a war and it came to defending America, I would leave.
Why would you leave?
Because why the fuck am I gonna fight for this country and other countries when the country doesn't fight for me?
So you're saying
literally this country has overwhelmingly harmed Black people. Why would I need to stand up and fight for this country when the country is literally killing Black and brown people on a daily basis? What type of allegiance and loyalty should I have to this country? Why? Because I was born here, I have to have this utmost allegiance and loyalty. This goes into like the American exceptionalism. You guys are weird when you think that just because like we are in America that we have to be like super patriotic and all this. Our country should make us proud to be American, and our country does not make me proud to be an American. And so I am not proud to be an American, and I wouldn't fight to be an American, because our country is literally killing us, not just like actually killing us in the streets, but they're poisoning us as far as like the way that our healthcare system is set up. Our food is deregulated. They literally don't care about American citizens. They are taking away job opportunities. They're overwhelmingly giving tax benefits to the ultra wealthy. Like there's nothing that's occurring in this country right now that says that American cares about their citizens. You can take
But
a look at where we fall. You can take a look at where we fall on the happiness index overall and all the key indicators that actually lends itself to being like a happy nation, a happy civilization. The United States of America doesn't invest in those things. They don't invest in like education. They don't invest in like the family unit. The people on the right scream that we need like a nuclear family and we need more kids and all this other stuff, but they don't actually support kids. They don't care about like free food for kids. They don't care about their education. Hell, they don't even care that they get shot in school. So you sitting here saying like that anyone, well, undocumented immigrants, they don't have skin in the game and they would leave if there's a fucking war. Like I would too, because this country doesn't care about us. The country only cares about what we can do for the country. Like that's a fucking issue.
But you would fight for everything that you believe in, though, right? Like
I would
not
fight
like
for the people next to me. I wouldn't fight for this country.
No, exactly. You would.
I would fight for Athena, and she's not American.
No, exactly. So like I'm saying, like all these things that you believe in, like you would go out and protest against, like, you want to basically change America, make America better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say that why is it that you're fighting in America specifically? Like you want to make America better?
It's because this is where I live. This is literally my home.
So
it's not because I feel some undying loyalty to this country. It's just because this is where I lived. If I lived in another country, I would still feel the same way, depending on how the country treated me as a person, how the country treated my ancestors, the people that I love and care about. So it's not about the individual country. It's about the treatment of the country towards the people. And I care more about people than I do care about the country.
So like Santana and like Black Americans or Indigenous Americans or whatever it is, or people who are not white, fighting to better their society and to remove the racial disparities that impact and harm their communities is not analogous with participating in a war that America wages, because more than not, a war that America is going to wage or engage in, America is probably going to be on the wrong side, right? And if it's on the wrong side and Black and brown people are participating in that and being used as cannon fodder by an imperialist government that is going around waging wars in order to exploit resources from other countries and destabilize them, that is completely different than BIPOC people trying to better the situation within their community for their within their society. So two different things. They're not analogous at all.
Okay. Like you said you would leave but do you really have that option? Like, let's say you get drafted, like, do we really have that option to just leave the country?
I mean, well, there's a will, there's a way. Like literally, I mean, you can see throughout the history of the country, and especially when you talk about Black people have always been defiant when it comes to like conforming to what this country demands that we are and what we do. And even like when you talk about one of our greatest champions, one of the greatest fighters of all time, Muhammad Ali, right? Muhammad Ali was stripped of his heavyweight championship and like thrown in jail because he wouldn't go fight a war in Vietnam, right? Like that's the history of Black people within this country. Like we would rather like die for what we believe in than to like stand for nothing. So like, I'm sorry, your premise that just because you live in this country, you should have some type of unwavering loyalty. The country needs to be better. Like the U.S. needs to treat people better, and maybe we would be willing to defend it at all costs. Like the United States claims to be this shining city on the hill, and like there's nothing that the United States does that benefits their people more than like other countries. Can you name one thing that the United States leads in that's a positive outside of GDP and the military?
It's freedom.
Other countries have freedom too, by the way.
Yeah, but it's freedom,
other countries
freedom
have
with
more
diversity.
freedom.
Like
other countries have more freedom.
And there are countries as well.
Other countries have more freedom. Literally today in our country, women have less rights than they had 10 years ago. So help me with that again.
Exactly. I'm talking about modern, like today, America. The past.
I'm talking about today. Literally today, women have less rights than they did 10 years ago.
less rights than they did 10 years ago?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm writing this down. Okay. But either ways, like you said, like I'm saying, like they're like I said from the very beginning.
Don't just say like I said. Like address what I just said. The fact that you said freedom, and I'm telling you that freedom is not. The United States doesn't lead. No, the United States isn't number one in freedom. And even when you talk about like the rights of the people, women have less rights today than they did 10 years ago. Address that.
I couldn't really address the women's rights because I didn't know or think that the women lost more rights than they had 10 years ago. What was the one before that you said? So I could talk about that one.
Roe v. Wade was overturned. So
well, I do believe that they shouldn't.
I don't care what you think about abortion. I genuinely
well, she brought Roe v. Wade up.
No, she's telling you what those rights were. Like she's literally giving you the answer because you don't know. No one wanted your opinion about abortion because like I'm positive you can't fuck with the actual like real premise of abortion. So like I don't even want to talk about abortion, but like she's spot on.
Well, I mean, yeah, like, you know, if they take away the right for an abortion, like, you know, so not everybody has like 100% rights. Like we can't just do whatever we want.
So they're not top right. When you're saying freedom, by the way, what kind of freedom are you referring to? Are you talking about freedom of speech, economic mobility? Are you talking about political rights, personal autonomy? What type of like freedom are you talking about?
Yeah, literally all of that. Literally, we can do anything, almost anything we want as long as...
That's not true, though. Economic mobility. America has one of the worst economic upward mobilities like than other countries, right? When you talk about political rights, what are you talking about? Freedom of speech, fine. People hate speech laws are not so good. That means racist people can say racist-ish, right?
I was just about to say, we don't even truly have freedom of speech either because the current administration has been stripping citizenship and deporting people who are exercising in their freedom of speech while also saying that people engaging in their freedom of speech, i.e. burning the flag, should be thrown in jail for 1 year and signing an executive order to try to bypass the actual legal standing to be able to burn the American flag as a freedom of speech. Like literally the current administration is infringing on everyday Americans' ability to exercise their freedom of speech. And then they're even like the people on the right are justifying like people getting killed while exercising their freedom of speech because they're not protesting the right way. Like literally what you're saying makes no fucking sense.
But also when we're talking about voting rights, you have ID laws that actively disproportionately target certain communities, Black communities, and indigenous communities, especially when we talk about democratic participation. You have gerrymandering also that targets specific communities. When you talk about economic freedom and starting businesses, I gave you the data with regards to how Black businesses are less likely to receive loans, even when they fare better than white businesses. When you're talking about social freedoms, healthcare access, that within itself doesn't exist because, again, Black people have a higher maternal mortality rate. They have a higher infant mortality rate, are less likely to be diagnosed accurately, less likely to receive pain medication, don't have equal access to healthcare. When it comes from freedom from harm, right? When we talk about violence, Black people are disproportionately subjected to police brutality and all other forms of systemic violence. When it talks about incarceration, Black people are disproportionately wrongfully incarcerated. Black men are about like 12 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted or for unaliving somebody, especially if the victim is white. Black people are disproportionately targeted when it comes to substance convictions. The national exoneration rates already show this, that Black people are disproportionately targeted within the judicial system as well. So what freedoms are you talking about? Because when it comes to civil liberties, right? When it comes to civil liberties and political rights, so many other countries fare off better than like the US. So please delve into what you mean by freedom.
We are, that's the thing. We are free to change all the things you just said. Like, yes, there is going to be a lot of disparity, but we also have we are able to fight to change things that are not right in America that not a lot of countries have too.
How do we have the right to change those things?
Like
Help me
we
understand.
go out and protest, we go out and fight, just like how
And what happens when we protest?
if we protest peacefully, then we can make a change. Like,
So
is
what
that not how they did
determines
it?
who gives you the determination as far as how you have to protest? Like, why does it have to be quote unquote peaceful?
Because why? So are we going to do unpeaceful? Is it supposed to be unpeaceful protest? Like, because we're not.
Name me one protest that has overwhelmingly been successful, that hasn't encompassed some form of violence.
Wasn't the Montgomery bus boycott helpful?
There was violence in the bus boycott. Black people literally got beaten and killed for trying to boycott not riding the bus.
Yeah, and they were peaceful. They were peaceful, right?
I literally just told you the violence that occurred.
No, I'm saying, yeah, violence occurred to them, but Black people were peaceful, though, right?
What does it matter if Black people were peaceful if there was still violence perpetuated on them?
I was
what
just
does that matter?
Because
like,
look, I was going to say yes.
Stop. Think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. You're saying that the Black people didn't engage in any type of violence. They just showed up and said, we're not going to take these buses. We're not going to do this. And they were still beat and killed. And you think that's okay?
No, if you would have let me finish, I would have been like, okay, so since they were peaceful and those things did happen to them, that is bad. Those police officers or whoever did violence against them were in the wrong because all that they were trying to do is
just about them being in the wrong?
No, I'm talking about the police or whoever did violence.
Who cares about them being in the wrong? Your point of them being in the wrong, no one gives a shit about them being in the wrong. Like, I'm sitting here telling you that, like, an actual change that occurs from protest, there will be some form of violence, one way, shape, or the other. I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm saying there will be violence, and there's no one that can sit here and say you should or should not protest this way, because without the understanding that there will be some form of violence when it comes to protest, if you're not willing to engage with that, then you're not willing to actually have any type of real change.
But also, Santana, non-violent does not mean not disruptive.
Exactly.
Because the boycott was very, very disruptive, right? When we look at the bus system, it lost a lot of significant revenue. The city itself experienced a lot of economic strain, and downtown businesses were also impacted, right? So there was an economic pressure that was implemented by this, right? So you could argue, quote unquote, it was peaceful in the sense that the people who were engaging in it were not violent, but it was still a very, very disruptive protest because it intentionally actively hurt bus companies financially, right? So people were not passive. People were not, it wasn't non-coercive. It wasn't just people like, okay, well, can we like live, laugh, love our way out of oppression, please? Like, can you please give us rights? That's not how it happened, right? So it was very disruptive.
And the point that I want to make sure that I explain, and this is why I said violence in one way, shape, or another, like economic stoppage or blockage or pressure, like that's economic violence, right? You have to be willing to suffer and cause suffrage to other people economically in order to do that as well.
Yeah,
because when you talk about like stopping revenue from going in and out, you're stopping people from literally being able to eat. And you have to be willing to inflict that violence on other people to get that change. So you can talk about like one of the most successful boycotts that we've had here recently in the US, in which that was the overwhelming boycott of Target, right? But there was violence that was perpetuated towards others in a sense that like people lost their jobs. People couldn't feed their families, like other businesses suffered because of like the actual boycott of Target. Like there is violence in one shape, form, or the other. And there's no one that can sit here and say, well, the way that you should protest is stand on the side of the road and have your picket signs and say, we shall overcome. No one cares about that. Like literally no one cares about that. And you sitting here saying that you should or shouldn't like protest this way or that way, it's fucking silly. It's just silly.
I wouldn't say that the economical like effect is not peaceful. Like yes, they protested and they stopped the revenue. That's just what happens with with protesting. Like, I'm not saying that them stopping the review is, not, I'm not trying to do a double negative, like not peaceful. That is just what happens when you protest. And that's actually one of the ways that peaceful protesting can help. They stop the economical drive, and then now they have to, the people in charge have to, look at what's happening and, fix that.
It wasn't peaceful though. MLK literally had his house bombed. What are you talking about? Like, there were so many Black leaders who had their homes actively bombed. So it's like, for you to say it's peaceful is just, it is pacifying and sugarcoating the history, which, by the way, like a lot of times people tend to look at the civil rights movement and they make it seem as if it was just peaceful, kumbaya, my lord, everybody's just going around, you know what I mean? Just like playing on their guitar, and everybody is peaceful, and nothing is everything okay. They were just holding each other's hands and peacefully. That's not how it happened. You think it happened that way because the status quo that you live in, thank you for the gift, by the way. The status quo that you live in is actively trying to brainwash you into thinking you have to be, what's that word? You have to be passive. Exactly. You have to be passive. You have to be okay with subjugation. That is what you're being convinced of. So they take what actually happened during the civil rights movement and they completely whitewash it. Mm-hmm. It is a rewriting of history. Complacent. Exactly, Sonia. Thank you. They make you think that you have to be complacent and you have to be passive and docile.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, I'm gonna read you something really quick, and then I'm gonna say a couple of thank yous. I want you to take a moment to think about what this means, right? So I want you to take this in, and I want you to like digest this. This is from one of my favorite poems, and it's like a specific part of the poem, right? So are you listening?
Yes.
Okay. Because when their teeth stop showing and their stomach starts growling and their hearts start flowing, if you're from the hood, I know you feel me. If the streets start leaning and the heart stops working and my stomach starts hurting, I'm gonna rob me a person. That's from the famous poet Freeway, right? So I want you to think about that for half a second and tell me what you think that means. I'm gonna say a couple of thank yous and I'm gonna come back, okay? W's in the chat for Valkyrie. What up, Valkyrie, for the $10 donation, saying you and your lovely family deserve to enjoy the victory parade. Take care, my friend. Yes, we are. We're going to see the Seahawks. We're going to see the Seahawks. W's in the chat for Valkyrie. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Heather for the $5 donation, saying daily hugs. Daily hugs. Thank you, Heather. I can't watch today, but there's a spirit. I can't watch today, but I'm in the spirit. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. You as well. Thank you. W's in the chat for Harry for the $2 donation, saying people confuse indoctrination with patriotism. Boom. Been told your whole lives that we're the best country without being shown. Exactly. W's in the chat for Jared for the $1 donation, saying millions more people will lose their ability to vote if the SAVE Act passes. Yes. And specifically women. Like, women will be like overwhelmingly disenfranchised as well, but also it's going to hurt Republicans. Like, that's the catch-22. That's why so many Republicans are now backing away from it, even though Trump is still supporting it. Like, the SAVE Act is really going to harm Republicans. W's in the chat for Allison for the $1 donation, saying, could you ask for a Cabe lookalike? I don't know who Caleb is. I'm Allison. I'm not sure who Caleb is, or the lookalike. Sorry. W's in the chat for Shannon for the $50 donation, saying black homeowners have to white stage when selling. That's absolutely true. Absolutely fucking true. W's in the chat for Dustin for the $20 donation. And Dustin, it says that you sent a personalized note, but I'm looking at the email and not the the app. So I'll go in and take a look at that personalized note in just a moment and see exactly what it says. W's in chat for all the gifters, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Guys, hey, keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 200,000 likes. Also, if you take a look up at the top and you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. We are driving towards 100,000 followers on the main account. So make sure you hit that follow button right there. Boom, 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 boom. Hit that follow button. Also, we got Kobe up here hanging out with us, guys. Please show her some love. Please, please, please show Kobe some love while she's hanging out up here with us. Let's immediately, actually, she's almost at 2,000 coins. Can we get her over 3,000 coins? Please, please, please. 1.4 thousand of us hanging out here. Can we please immediately get her over 3,000 coins? Show Kobe some love. Give her a follow. And also hit those pay links. All right, Eric, what do you think that famous poet Freeway was talking about?
I really didn't understand it. I was hoping you would tell me the deeper meaning.
Yeah. Well, whenever you get an actual opportunity, you should go look up it's actually put to a song, and the song is called What We Do, right? And it features other poets, like one poet is a guy named Beanie Siegel, and there's probably another poet that you've heard of as well. And it's was actually produced by a great producer by the name of Just Blaze, right? Anyway, what that says is like when people start hurting, when people truly start hurting, especially Black people, when people start hurting and they are continuing to be oppressed and disenfranchised and overwhelmingly harmed, they will fight back. They will stand up. They will take what they need. And so you can sit here and pretend that like there can be any type of real change by being passive or docile. But when you're being oppressed and people that are looking to oppress you continue to give you less and less and less, someday when someone's stomach starts touching, they're gonna rob them a person.
Well, you cut out for me, but I didn't hear everything. I just cut out in the middle. I'm so sorry.
I'm just saying what Athena said as far as like you thinking that people holding hands and singing is going to make a real change is not anything that's actually going to happen. So,
but do you also think that we should like be able to riot then?
Yes.
You think we should be able to riot?
Yes, if needed. Yes.
Okay. So all these rights are ICE riots. You believe in them?
Wait, do you think that you shouldn't be able to riot if needed?
I don't think you should get in the way of law enforcement.
So you believe in
also riot being observant?
Subservient.
Subservient. What's subservient?
You believe in being dominated by authority.
I think that we should listen to the laws that we have.
Do you think all laws are just?
No, there could always be unjust laws.
What do you think about those unjust laws? Do you think you should obey those unjust laws?
I think we should fight the unjust laws.
How do you fight unjust laws?
By getting people together, telling them what's right and what's wrong, and then getting people to fight for it, protesting.
Right. What is fight? What does that mean? What does that look like?
Just always disrupt, economical.
What does that look like?
Just like how back then, disrupt the economical flow, hurt the government in some way where it's like,
so
not physically.
What if the government actually starts to hurt us physically?
I mean, yeah, that's why we have that's why, well, if we're really not doing anything at all, then yeah, we have to fight. What if the
government starts to hurt us physically, then what do you do?
What example would that be? Like, what's that?
Murdering us.
For what? Like just being ourselves?
Protesting.
Okay, so you see, that's wrong. You see, that's why, that's
I'm
when
not saying
we're,
right or wrong. I'm saying, what do you do in that situation?
then we would, if they're blatantly just killing us, like if someone's just sitting down, supposedly
Answer
protesting,
the
and then
question
they just kill
directly.
us.
I don't need you to like create a hypothetical around it. I just need to answer. I need you to answer the question. What do you do if the government is killing American citizens while protesting?
You have to fight back by, there's going to be different answers on how to fight back because not everybody wants to be violent.
What do
But you just
you do, Eric?
I would, start. I never been that far, but I would protect myself.
If the if American government is killing people for protesting, would you riot?
Would I riot? If they really did it, no, I would get myself out of that situation. I personally would get myself out of that.
That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, that was really bad.
Mm-hmm. 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 One of the things that like authoritarians and dictators and like fascists count on is people choosing comfort over freedom. They literally depend on people being willing to live on their knees because of the threat of death. And Eric, if you're still listening, I hope one day that you live to die on your feet than live on your knees. I really hope you do. I don't
Also,
know.
like the country that he supports, so he's like a patriot, right? Like an American patriot. He said he feels like some kind of loyalty to America.
Mm-hmm.
The country that he supports was literally birthed through colonists rejecting British law. Like when we look at colonists rejecting like the Tea Act or the Sugar Act or whatever other parts of the law, that the specific laws that they viewed as unjust, they rejected those laws.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that wasn't peaceful either. So
yeah. I don't know. Like I say this all the time. Like I'm not sitting here advocating for violence, but I'm also not unaware that I don't understand like violence can and will occur even if I don't bring it to my doorstep. Like I think that's like you have to be you have to have your head in the clouds if you think that like you can just make change and make things happen and there'll never be any form of violence, because when you try to shake up a system, either it's going to take violence to shake up that system or violence will be forced upon you for trying to change something that like the system doesn't want changed. So like none of that makes sense to me, Athena.
But yeah, I won't take up space, by the way. I'll just go back to the chat. So
Wait. Before you do, guys, I said, can we get Athena above 3,000 coins? Please, we're at 2.43. There's like 1.3 thousand of us hanging out here. Can we please get Athena over 3K before she drops down? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please take care of Athena. Black people labor isn't free, and especially Black woman labor isn't free. So please show her some love. Please show her some love. Also, give her a follow and hit her pay links. I know for a fact that Athena, for some weird reason, loves hummus. And so if you want to like shoot her some, it's weird. If you want to shoot her like a PayPal and send her something so she can buy some hummus.
Hummus is okay.
It's
listen,
gross.
do not get me started. Why would you do that,
The end of your sentence is gross. Hummus is
Why
gross.
would you do that, Santana? Hummus is delicious, okay? Has a lot of protein, has a lot of delicious... Listen, at this point, Santana is xenophobic. That's why he has an issue with hummus.
Whoa.
That's why he has an issue with hummus, okay? Because he's xenophobic. But oh my God, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate y'all. Hummus is delicious, especially hummus and pasta. It's unbelievably delicious. Trust me, try it. But I appreciate you, Santana. Thank you very much for the gifts.
Thank you for coming up. I really appreciate you. Debbie's in the chat for Brittany. Brittany sent a $5 donation saying, I'll never be able to fight. Huge coward here, but I'm gonna do all I can to support those who can fight in my place. Brittany, first and foremost, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I like appreciate that to the moon and back. But even more, fighting doesn't always have to be physical. That's something that I need each and every person to hear me and understand. Fighting does not always mean that you actually have to be on the front lines fighting. Whatever thing you can do to support fighting fascism is what you do. And if that looks like supporting those people that are on the front lines, whether you're allocating some of your resource, your energy, your time, like it comes in so many different forms. So just because you can't actually go out and physically be the ones fighting does not mean that you aren't adding to the fight. So always keep those in mind. Always keep those things in mind. W's in chat for Marie for the $3.34 donation saying, unfortunately, I was born with oppositional deficient disorder. I know how to act grown, but I can be feral. Holy shit. I viscerally cannot understand being submissive. If there's injustice or oppression, you don't just say, thank you, sir. Can I have another? Exactly. They're so fucking weird. All they do is scream, oppress me more, daddy. Like, what the fuck are we doing? W's in the chat. Guys, again, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Defiant, yes. Defiant, yes, sorry. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates, guys. America's sick. America's sick because of white privilege, American exceptionalism. It's because the right is violent. It's because the left eats their own. And it's because of the patriarchal system. So if you disagree with any of those things, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates. Pablo, hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
so America's sick.
So are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
I disagree with white privilege, bro.
Okay, perfect. Let's start here. I'm definitely going to allow you to tell me why you disagree with the fact that white privilege is part of why America's sick. But can you tell me before we go too far, what's your race?
My race? Hispanic.
Hispanic is not a race.
Well, I mean, Hispanic multiracial, I guess.
Hispanic multiracial is not a race. There's 5 categories as far as race, and like you can find them on the census.
Yeah, so I'm indigenous, Asian, and a little bit of
what do you phenotypically
Middle Eastern as? What do I phenotypically represent as?
What do you phenotypically present as? Meaning, like, if someone were to like not know you and kind of see you from a distance, would they say, hey, that's a white man, hey, that's a black man, hey, that's an indigenous man, hey, that's an Asian man? What would they say
so
they saw you?
They would say that's a Mexican man, but they would that's not a race.
I'm not exactly. So
but they would assume, they would assume it's like a mix of indigenous and something else.
They wouldn't assume that. They would say one of the other things.
That's an indigenous person. They probably say that.
Okay, so you're indigenous.
Mostly ish.
A serious question for you before we go too far, right? And like, you're literally the second person that I'm talking to that's doing this. Do you think that you are really about to be able to articulate a proper case as far as like why white privilege doesn't exist or why it's not harmful when you can't even properly identify your race?
So you say identify your race, but I give you like, you know, I'm indigenous and a mix of different other things. So like, I mean, I'm mixed.
A mix isn't a thing. Again,
no, but I'm mixed.
When you like fill out the census or like whatever, what do you put on your census knowing the like the 5 racial categories? What do you check in the census?
I check other for the most part.
Others not on the census. See, okay. All right, cool. I'm just letting you know right now, you're already starting behind. Like I don't think that you're able to properly articulate this, but I'm going to give you a chance. Tell me what's your premise? Why do you think either white privilege doesn't exist or it's not harmful to America?
So, I mean, if it existed, it would be harmful, but you know, I think privilege via class does exist, right? But for example, like a white redneck in the middle, working a job in Walmart, I don't think like the dude has any privilege. Like,
What you're talking about is class reductionism, and there's a difference between classism and racism. You can talk about like people being disenfranchised due to economic status, but when you add the layer of race with the economic status, the person is more disenfranchised due to race and how racism works. Again, I don't think that you can properly articulate this because, again, even from the jump, you couldn't identify what your race is.
So I'm mixed. I'm not going to say I'm a particular
Mixed
race.
is not a race.
Because
It's
I'm not
literally
going
not
to,
a race.
so,
Either you're being willfully obtuse or you just don't
because,
know.
like, look,
and again,
look,
if you don't
so
know,
for
then
example,
you're not qualified for this conversation.
if you're just let me say something. If your mom is black and your dad is white, what are you? White or
You're
black? And you're gonna be like,
biracial. You're biracial, but depending on how you phenotypically present,
regardless of how you phenotypically present, you're already 50% of something and 50% of the other.
That's how race is actually structured. It's based off of acceptable phenotypical characteristics. Like there's literally, you can't say Baton of regardless of that. Like literally, that's what race is based off of. Like that's how it was created. Do you know who created race? You're muted. You're muted. I didn't mute you. I don't know what's happening, but I'll jump in for a second. W's in the chat for Marie for the $1.11 donation saying, I don't fight physically because I'll lose and I'm not stupid. There are so many creative ways to move in the shadows. Let's spite fuel. Let's spite fuel you. It's less reckless than anger. Whenever you're good at whatever you're good at, there's a way to use that for a cause. I absolutely agree with that. W's in chat for Marie and W's in chat for Amanda for the $5 donation saying every revolution needs medics, witness, caregivers, mediators. Just because the folks in the front line are the most recognizable does not mean that they're the only ones standing in defiance of tyranny. Exactly. W's in the chat for Amanda. Thank you so much for that $5 donation. Again, guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. If you are over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 200,000 likes. Also, guys, can we knock out the high bears? That's the daily gift code. The high bears. Can we knock those out? And guys, please, please, please hit that follow button. We are driving to 100,000 followers. And it looks like on the stream, we've only gotten 80 new followers. I know out of 1.5 thousand people watching right now, and we've been live for almost 2 hours. I know for a fact that there's more than 80 people that don't follow me. Hit that follow button, turn on notifications. Even if you don't like me, you can hate watch. Even if you think I got a punchable face, you can hit that follow button and still follow me. Pablo.
What's up, buddy?
I was saying that you can't say aside from phenotypical characteristics because that's how race was created. Do you know who created race?
So again, does race matter?
Yes.
To you, but
no,
should it matter
to society?
Should it matter?
Can you answer the question?
If you wanted to limit, yes,
can you answer the question?
Can I answer what question?
Who created race?
I don't know, some white guy.
That is accurate. Some white guy did create race. You know why they created race?
But I mean, like, you know.
Do you know why they created race?
To separate people, probably. Like,
race was created by Gomez de Zurara in justification of chattel slavery. They literally needed to get justification from the Catholic Church in order to subjugate Black people and utilize them as a free, cheap labor force. And it's tied into capitalism. The first capital traded on the New York Stock Exchange in the United States of America was Black people. And that persists to today as far as how systems continue to disenfranchise Black people. We've already had the conversation around redlining and how Black people are harmed due to racial practices within the financial system. But Black and non-white people are overwhelmingly harmed and disenfranchised in multiple ways. We could talk about education. We could talk about like
So question.
healthcare, all of
You
these things.
identify
But
as black.
even today, black non-white people are overwhelmingly harmed due to the fact of them. Can I finish my sentence, Bub? Holy smokes! Like, you're not even listening to what I'm saying. And now you're out of the app. I don't know if you got a call or whatever. You have to come back into the app in order for me to hear you. Like, you're off the app right now. I don't know if you got a phone call or you accidentally swiped out, or okay, he's gone. I'm starting to kind of regret this topic. Not gonna hold you. Kind of starting to regret this topic because this feels like a lot of emotional labor for people who don't understand things. That's what it's starting to feel like. It's starting to feel like a lot of people who don't understand things and who aren't really like trying to engage in it is who I'm going to be dealing with. Hi, Gabe. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
I'm not a Trump supporter. Just don't think that America is necessarily sick.
Okay. Well, I think that America's sick because of white privilege, American exceptionalism, because MAGA, the right, is violent, because the left is self-sabotaging, and the patriarchal system. Which point do you disagree with the most that you like to start at?
Listen, I agree with everything that you say, but the thing is that I think we're forgetting that MAGA is a loud minority.
Those points on the background?
They are a violent minority,
Sure.
but they are still a minority.
Please don't just try to talk over me because you want to say what you have to say. That's not how this live works. If you're not here to actually debate because you disagree with one of the points on the background and you just want to say a thing, don't do that. That's rude. That's not how my platform works. So if you actually want to debate, tell me which point that you actually want to debate. If you want to just actually talk about something that you think, then I respectfully say no, thank you, and I will have to drop you down. But like, please respect the boundaries of the live.
I just don't think that what you said and with the last guy was accurate.
Okay, then what specifically? Can you pick a point and then we go from there?
Well, to begin with the fact, I myself am also Latina. You were saying, no, nobody would look at you and say you're a Mexican guy. Absolutely, they would. Now, if you're trying to re-educate people into actually using the proper terms and everything, I respect you for it. But don't
trying to re-educate anyone into
people
properly using the proper terms. I'm saying that if you're going to have a conversation about race, you should at least know what race is and what race you are. That's my point. If you don't,
a lot of us Latinos more racist.
That's not how race works. If you don't know the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality, maybe before having a conversation about race, then you should know what race is. Like, that's all that I'm saying. Like, there's no way that I would walk on a court to play basketball and when I don't even know what a basketball is. Like, that doesn't make sense. The point that I'm getting to is, like, we can have this conversation, we can get out of the starting blocks, but if you don't know the very basis, you can't tell me like what your race is, then like, how can we have a genuine conversation? And it boils down to either people are being willfully obtuse, meaning they don't want to admit what race they are, or they genuinely don't know. And if they genuinely don't know, then it's punching down, and I don't want to debate them. And I would rather them learn from the comments and then come up when they're more educated versus actually sitting here trying to debate someone who doesn't even have the fundamentals.
In job descriptions or in job applications and the census and everything, the information is just not there. Absolutely.
What do you mean the information isn't there?
I've had to more than once say that I am two or more racist.
When did I say anything about the job applications, or did
you
I just
asked about the census to him? You said, what would you put in the census? And
there's 5 racial categories listed on the census.
And 2 or more races is what we always have to put down. So,
okay.
I do believe that you're trying to re-educate people, but the system is not there.
Hey, Gab, can you tell me what point you disagree with specifically on the background, and let's actually debate that point?
I don't think that white supremacy and white privilege is as widespread as you're making it seem. Like I said, I think that MAGA is a minority.
Can you tell me, I'm not talking about MAGA when I talk about white privilege, because white people vote on both sides of the aisle.
You're saying that non-MAGA, that you believe that non-MAGA are also white supremacists.
Where do you see white supremacists?
White privilege.
Do you think white privilege and white supremacy is the same thing?
No.
Is that why you're all in your fifis? Because you think that I'm saying that like white supremacy and white privilege is the same thing?
Yeah, no, you're right. I misunderstood.
Do you know what white privilege is?
Yeah, no, I'm aware, and I agree with you on that point.
Okay, is there anything on the background that you actually disagree with that you want to debate?
No.
Okay, thank you for coming up.
Thanks.
W's in the chat for Olivia for the $7.99 Aussie, who said, how do I talk to my child about the N-word? He heard it from a bully at school, told him that it's a harmful word. I'm assuming that's a document or something. Olivia, what I would say is I would have an honest conversation around like the harm of the N-word and how it has been used in conjunction with violence to perpetuate harm on Black people. It's a word of oppression that has been used, and it has often been accompanied with Black people hanging from trees or, you know, being overwhelmingly harmed or oppressed in multiple ways. And I would have that conversation as far as like understanding how it exists and like what it looks like. That's a tough conversation, and I don't envy you for having to have that conversation, but I completely understand the need to have that conversation. So yeah, thank you for the question. Debbie's in the chat for J-Hops for the $2 donation saying the caucasity acts a Black man if race matters. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And also Debbie's in the chat for J-Hops, who sent another $2 donation saying, speaking from your white Latina privilege, now guess, yeah, like a lot of people struggle with that, and I understand the struggle, but you know, yeah. Debbie's in chat for K Lala, who sent a $1 donation saying, I learn so much from you every day. Thank you for helping me deconstruct my white privilege and helping me learn how to use it to help others. You're my favorite. You're my favorite, K Lala. Again, I'll always say this, like the point of having privilege should be to use it as a shield for people without privilege. Like that's literally the reason why we should have privilege. As a man, I should always weaponize my privilege to help women. Like that's the point. Like that's what you do with privilege. W's in chat for Amanda for the $5 donation saying MAGA might be a minority group, but the foundations of their beliefs and prejudice are systematic and ancient. Those beliefs have been justified with violence and genocide for centuries. I completely agree, Amanda. W's in the chat for Amanda. Thank you so much for the $5 donation and also the love. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Santana Speaks for You. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Justin, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
I just want to get on here. I'm so sorry if this is going to take time from you.
Okay,
I just want to say,
supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm going to drop you down. Guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Please respect the boundaries of the live. If you have a message, I read the comments all the time. I read the comments all the time. Can you speak about love sabotage? I go back and forth. Yeah, I'll speak about that in just 1 second. If you, what was I just about to say? I read the comments all the time. So what up, Peach? Please, please, please respect the boundaries of the live. If you have something to say, you can drop it in the comments. If I see it, I'll read it. You can try to get it to one of the mods, and if it's like important, they'll get it to me. or if it's something that you absolutely want to be heard, or a question that you want answered directly. If you decide to send something to the pay links, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, then I will answer those questions directly. But please, please, please respect the boundaries of the live so we can keep the live going. Thin Line, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How's it going?
Good. Your volume is kind of like shuffly and muffly or whatever. I think you and I have talked before. I can't remember if you're a Trump supporter, but do you disagree with something on the background?
Yeah, I think the left self-sabotaging.
Okay, we can definitely talk about that. Can you disconnect from your Bluetooth or whatever, because now it's causing an echo. As again, only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, and we will get going. Also, again, guys, we're driving towards 100,000 followers. If you look up at the top and you see the word follow, you're not following me, hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. We are trying to get to 100,000 followers, and we only have 92 new followers on this live. I know with 1.4 thousand people hanging out, I know for a fact that there's more than 94 people that that don't follow me. So hit that follow button and turn on notifications. All right, were you able to disconnect from Bluetooth?
Yeah. Is that better?
Yep, absolutely. All right, you were saying that you disagree with the left self-sabotages.
Yeah, more so than anything. What exactly?
Guys, hold on one second. Guys, you don't have to spam that in the chat. I know I can hear it as well. That's not how TOS works. Please don't spam that in the chat, though. We're good. I got it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what exactly do you mean whenever you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. The left has a lot of infighting, and even more so purity tests that have to be met in order to actually be able to earn certain people's votes or support. And even more so, I've seen a recent history of the Democratic Party looking to sacrifice Black women for whatever agenda that they have to perpetuate. And you could talk about some of the Black women in the party's most recent history that has been sacrificed, including Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, and even now there was a sense of trying to sacrifice Jasmine Crockett. But she has overwhelmingly shown massive when it comes to the support that she's received in Texas with people showing out to vote and polling, so much so that she now is polling ahead as far as being able to win the Texas senator seat, no matter who the opponent is. And so the point that I'm speaking of is, like, a lot of times people will end up like saying that, like, this person doesn't fit this standard, or this person doesn't believe in this, and so I can't support them because of this or this or this, instead of actually trying to find someone that's going to overwhelmingly be beneficial to our side and drive us in the right direction, versus someone who is missing this one thing that other people believe in.
Okay. I may have misunderstood whenever I read it, but I do agree with that. So
yeah. I also think the Democratic Party as a whole, like the overall party, not the people, but the party, like the establishment, the DNC, they're self-sabotaging because they don't listen to their constituents. They try to tell us what we want instead of, like, listening to the things that we want. And I think that's a huge problem.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I can't disagree with any of that.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I'll drop you down. I appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you.
Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. No parties represent the left, just liberals. Sure, come up and tell me about it. Hi, 2024, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
I am not a Trump supporter. I just want to say that, like, the using of Black women, I don't think the DNC cares about us Black people, honestly.
Okay, but do you disagree with something on the background?
Nah.
Okay, I'll just say this. I don't think politicians or politics cares overall about Black people. I mean, I think that it's about how they can use Black people versus actually caring. And so that's why I think it's important that we use them. So anyway,
I
I'm
just
gonna
don't
drop you
think
down.
you should be supporting the Democratic Party.
Okay. I hear you. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. W's in the chat for Kathy for the $2 donation saying, I'm Latina and brown. Am I still considered white? Well, if you are, when you say brown, it sounds like you may present as a black person, or you may even present indigenous. I mean, it's based off of like the additional phenotypical characteristics. It's not just skin tone. So like I would have to see you in order to actually be able to tell you, or if you can actually give more information. So it really just depends. But that's kind of a hard question to answer on its face without with just limited information. But there's that. There's that. Hey, you're being weird in the comments. I'm gonna mute you. Whatever. Matthew 346. Get in the box. You don't get to use my chat as like some weird diary or whatever the fuck you think you're doing right now. Like I don't play those weirdo games. So yeah. Respectfully, what's the overall preferred term? I prefer black. I mean, I'm not gonna knock people who say African American, but I say black. Like I'm black. I'm black AF. So W's in the chat for Zaggy for the $5 super chat to say, remember, compliance and willful ignorance are keys, foundations needed for oppression to flourish. I completely agree. W's in the chat for Renegade for the $20 super chat to say, just sold my house for $240,000 to get out of my son downtown and move off the grid. Kiss my ass, fascist. Leftist will survive. I know that's fucking right. Holy shit. W's in the chat for Renegade. God damn. W's in the chat for Renegade. Guys, if anyone else likes to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Kayla, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
No, sorry, I was spam liking.
All right, no worries. I'll drop you down. Let's see here. I don't know if this person is going to necessarily load. Kind of. Gabby, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
No, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was liking a bunch of times. It was an accident.
No worries. I'll drop you down. Thank you. As only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. 1 second here. Oh, yep. That person didn't load. W's in the chat for Becca. Becca sent a $1 donation saying, I'm Puerto Rican, but my mom is from Canada, so I look white AF, LOL. But the struggle for me is understanding my identity. I'm looking at your picture right now, Becca, and you know, you're white. Not negating the fact that you are Puerto Rican, but you present as a white woman. So like, I think I can't wait because one thing that we're going to be talking about on Late Nights with Santana, when I bring back Late Nights, one topic that I think is super, super, super important is we actually break down the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality. Like, I think that's something, and I don't even blame people for not understanding that and like struggling with that point. But the more I have these type of conversations, the more I understand like people don't know those things. And I think that's super important. Especially for people who genuinely want to like be better and understand more, versus like the people that are closed-minded who just like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. Like, I think that's hard. And then for people who like to say like, oh, you know, I'm stuck in this. Will there be a Q&A? Oh, Bryce, you don't know what Late Nights is. A lot of you guys are new to me. And so it's been a couple of months since we did Late Nights for a couple of different reasons. And Late Nights is where I started. Like, I started doing Late Nights before I started debates. But Late Nights is a panel discussion. And when I say a panel discussion, I mean anyone can join the panel discussion. So it's not a Q&A. Late Nights is literally, I'm the host, and you guys that are watching right now, you get to just request up and we all discuss the topics together. That's how Late Nights work. It's actually a great place for anyone who's like interested in maybe like doing these type of TikTok lives or actually learning or engaging, like all this other stuff. Late Nights is a great place for that. But late nights is a panel discussion where I accept people up and we run through the different topics that's on the background. We even have Peach. Wait, Peach, you don't know about late nights? Peach, have you ever heard the song for Late Nights with Santana? Peach, have you ever heard the, you know, we have a song for late nights, just like we have a song for Sparring. Peach, do you want to hear the song for Late Nights with Santana? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams in the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures. But the real ones listen before they rebuttal. Late nights with Santana. Yeah, Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this is purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Yeah. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. No highlight reel, just the soul's reflection. No shade throwing, just connection. From streetwise truths to deep reflections, we turn hard talks into blessings. They say they run a game, we build new rules. We here to heal, uplift, and break the old rules. They kept us boxed in, divided by fear. But you find us lined up when the truth appears. Yeah, weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. Yeah, Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights.
You said you missed late nights. Well, hold tight. It starts back this Sunday night. This Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Late Nights with Santana is back. It's back. And for anyone who has not had the opportunity to actually see Late Nights, it is, like I said, a panel discussion. That was in chat. Thank you, Gucci. It's super educational. We have like different topics. It's open for everyone. You heard a couple of things in the song, and like the song was created based off of like what we did on like late nights, and it's meant to be educational. It's meant to be respectful. The one thing that I don't do on late nights is we don't have over talking. So even though there's multiple people on the panel, there's no over talking each other. I don't allow people to like just yeah. I hate that. Also, it's my mom's favorite live that I do, so we don't curse. Sorry guys, there's no cursing on late nights. Mama Jones is watching. So yeah, late nights will be back this Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific this Sunday. Yeah. Anywho, guys, I am too. The only person we have, no, the song is not AI. The song is not AI. That song is an actual song by an actual person. The only person in the what time Central? Gosh, what is that like? It's either 8 or 9 o'clock Central. I'm not exactly sure. Sorry. 9. It's 9. Okay, it's 9 Central. The only person we have in the request right now is ICE, which is John Stone, and I refuse to have that conversation. So there's that. 1 second. W's in chat for Alex. For the $5 donation, Santa is a darker skin Chilean. I never knew what to put in these school tests, so I just chose anything that wasn't white. I know that's right. Thank you for great lives. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, and thank you so much for that. You're fucking awesome. Guys, this is what we're gonna do because we had plans to do this anyway. And since we don't have any opposition in the request at the moment, we're going to hit a reset. But when we hit the reset, we are officially going on the backup to the backup. This account right here. This is the account that we're gonna be on. So first and foremost, hit that one. Boom, 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 boom. Hit that one. Hit that follow button. But also follow the backup to the backup. Right here. Backup to the backup. This is the account that we're going to be on. So we're going to hit a reset. I'm positive that once we hit this reset, ops are going to come in. The reason why we haven't been on the second account is because we're waiting for everything to, make sure we're G to G with the second account. But with the third account, for some reason on the accounts where like there isn't, like I haven't been doing these lives or they don't really know who I am, like they're more willing to come in and engage and debate. And since they're willing to come in and engage and debate, I'm telling you, I know for a fact that we're going to get a shit ton of people coming in to debate since we're going to be on the backup to the backup. So make sure you guys are following this account. This is where we're going. Can I count on you? Can I count on you to be there? You, right there, you. Okay. All right, I was just checking. All right. W's in chat for Renegade, who sent a $20 super chat to say, whiteness is an othering. My MAGA neighbor shouted out the N-word at me through my door because my bumper sticker says, release the e-files. And to them, white is everyone other than them. Yeah, like I completely agree. Holy shit. All right, guys, we're going to hit that restart. It's going to take like just a few moments because I have to switch over a couple of different things, including like the YouTube and everything. So on YouTube, I'm going to find something for you guys to watch for a second. I'll get everything.
Experience. Like one time I had a discussion with a man who was Puerto Rican. He was white and had no accent. Okay. Even though it is like territory of the US or colony of the US, right? The reality is that when he's here on the mainland, he's not going to be experiencing, he's probably not even going to experience xenophobia, not until he says that he is Puerto Rican, right? So I think that people do need to understand those nuances. I do think that the other part to all of this is that like people have to understand intersectionality. And they have to understand nuance. So when we talk about xenophobia, we're talking about a person experiencing prejudice or discrimination because they're a foreigner. They're from another country, right? That's what we're talking about. When we talk about racism, we are talking about the systemic oppression of people who are not white, right? And I'll just give a little lesson on this real quick, okay? Maybe this will help people. So when we talk about your race, that's a superficial set of physical characteristics that a society deems important. When we talk about your ethnicity, that would be like your language, your culture, the traditions and things like that you have. And then nationality is the country that you're born in, right? So yes, xenophobia pertains to different nationality or you being a foreigner, right? When we talk about ethnocentrism or tribalism, even those would be issues that you have that would exist on the basis of tribe or ethnicity. When it comes to race, racism is a hierarchy created by white people who place themselves at the top. They then created systems, right? That all work together to form the structure of racism that solidifies white people's position at the top of the hierarchy, right? They are afforded privilege through the exploitation of non-white people. Now, this is where the historical part comes into play. When colonizers came over here, they damn near wiped out indigenous people, right? Because of their disease and all the other things, like the horrible things that they did, right? And African people were brought over here, right? And they were enslaved. There was an attempt at enslaving indigenous people, right? So although we do have moments that we share together historically, there are some differences just because of the way that things played out, right? And I think that that's what people need to understand. And we talk about the Latino community, right? Indigenous people and Black people, again, they'd be at the, in terms of experiencing the most racial disparities. And white Latino people or Hispanic people, they would be the ones that are benefiting from that. Those are the people that are born from people who came from Spain, like my great grandmother. She was born in Puerto Rico, but her parents came over to Puerto Rico from Spain. They are white. They had a business that they opened up in Puerto Rico, right? But
And don't you wanna sparring with Santana? I don't care what you claim on your background. Facts only, if not, get clapped down. Whether you're left or right, or you don't even vote. If your logic is weak, I'll sink your boat. You talk slick, but you ain't got source.
Nope.
Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force. I'm the test, the trap, the trip, the call. You slip once, I'm snatching it all.
Go.
Step in if you dare. Hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. No. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna sparring with Santana? Step in if you dare. Get hard like a punch in the air.
Tap the screen, guys. Send your daily heart meet. Let's get the likes up to 8,000 likes. Please and thank you.
Real quick.
No,
cap,
no.
shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed.
Step in.
Don't you wanna sparring with Santana? Yeah, this ain't a safe place. This a flame space. Step in, don't you wanna sparring with Santana?
Guys, welcome back. Sorry, I thought we were going to be able to get on the backup to the backup, but I didn't realize that I didn't hit those qualifications to make sure that we're on the backup to the backup. So I still have to do the things, right? I got to go live 3 times for 30 minutes total. That counted as 1 live, and we got a little bit of time. So there's that, but we hop back over here so we can get some more debates. So again, guys, if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates. If you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates. Why is America sick? Simple. White privilege. White privilege is at the root of the sickness when it comes to America. American exceptionalism is kicking everyone's ass. MAGA, the right, they're violent. The left tends to eat their own, and the patriarchy is the root cause of why we continue to see harm perpetuated. So if you disagree with any of the things on the background, get in the box. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 15,000 likes. And I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goal. If we can knock those out a couple of times, it will help push us out to the FYP. All right, let's see here.
Yo.
Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one?
What is white privilege?
So you disagree with white privilege?
100%.
You have kind of like I don't know, it's like an echo. I don't know if you're connected to a Bluetooth or have your phone in the case.
I'm not. Is this better?
Yeah, actually it's way better. Yes. So you disagree with the premise of white privilege?
Yeah, I've never had that. I don't even know what that is. And I've been white for 26 years.
Oh, okay, you got white privilege then. All right, I'll let you start though. Tell me why you think that as 26 years of being white, you not only don't know what white privilege is, but you don't think you have it.
Well, for starters, I come from poverty-stricken county, country, whatever, and I live paycheck to paycheck. I'm a felon. I got arrested for assault battery. Every time I get pulled over, I get searched.
Mm-hmm.
The whole shebang. Like, I don't get this white privilege that everyone gets. They walking around with flowers, coated rainbows, and all that shit. I don't have that. I don't do that. I work. I do my thing. But once you get caught up in the system, it's like a never-ending cycle of continuous bullshit. Yeah, that's one.
Okay. Yeah. So the one thing that I love to call out is there's a difference between classism and racism, right? And boiling things down to class reductionism is harmful because it negates the lived experience of what the compound is when you take like your lived experience and then you add on the disenfranchising that is accounted for when it comes to racism, right? So one key thing that I love to call out is people sitting there saying like, oh, white privilege. What is white privilege? I don't know what that is, or like whatever. But white privilege is one, having white privilege and not knowing that you have white privilege.
But let me ask you a question.
That echo or whatever, it's back. I don't know if you did something different, but whatever you like did before is no longer.
Is that better?
Yes. It's good again.
I don't know what's happening. I think it's like me turning my phone up, my volume fluctuation, me being able to hear you versus like when I speak.
Do you have your phone in a case? Sometimes if you have it in a case and you're talking directly through it, it'll cause like an echo.
Yeah, I got it. I can take it. Let me mute real quick. So let me take it out of the case.
Absolutely. Guys, only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live. Right now we have the gift goal is the music notes. Can we knock out the music notes, please?
How was that?
Better. Yeah. It's good.
Okay, so like, and my only question solely, bro, because I get exactly what you're saying, bro, and I respect your point of views. Like, I have nothing against you. I don't hate you because like we are on different playing grounds. You like whatever you like. I like whatever I like. I don't disagree with you on certain terms. There's some terms that I do disagree with you with, but I'm not going to throw shade or talk to you crazy or anything like that. The only thing I'm going to say is, what can you do that I can't? Or what can I do that you can't? Like, and it's really that simple.
Yeah, a lot. And, that question comes up a lot. And I think a lot of people don't understand the premise as far as like the question, because a lot of people like to break it down to like an individual lived experience. And while we may all have like different individual lived experience, it's how things actually perpetuate themselves throughout society. So on a big picture, right, you can talk about the fact that like white people have access to finances more so than non-white people. You could talk about the access to education versus non-white people. You can talk about the access to healthcare versus non-white people. But then if you want to boil down like an individual basis, like one glaring thing for me, one absolutely glaring thing for me has always been like the ability to fail up when it comes to white men, right? Think about this. Our current president, Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, whether you support him or not, right? Donald Trump is a 34 count felon. He is someone that was adjudicated and held civilly liable for rape. He is literally someone who had 4,000 lawsuits prior to him ever running for office. He has had multiple bankruptcies, including bankrupting a casino. And he is someone who has been known to say some like the most vile things, whether you can grab women by the P word, whether it's him like calling women pigs or all this other stuff. But with having each and every one of those things, he was able to ascend to the highest office in the land, right? But then when you talk about, not only when you look at Barack Obama in comparison, but the fact that Barack Obama is the only Black person to ever attain the office of the presidency, and everything that he had to do was like held against him, and he had to be perfect in every way. And you look at the comparison as far as the 2024 election, and while some people may say, I prefer Kamala Harris, I prefer Donald Trump or whatever, you look at the expectations that were placed against the Black woman versus the white man, and you see the discrepancy where the biggest knocks that people had on Kamala Harris was the fact that she didn't go on Joe Rogan and she laughed funny versus Donald Trump, who literally was saying like, I want to be a dictator on day one, and like saying, I'm going to put tariffs on everything, which is going to raise taxes. The fact of the matter is that when you are white, you are afforded certain leeway that gives you the ability to fail up. And even more so, it gives you the benefit of the doubt that non-white people don't naturally receive.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man.
The one thing that I love to talk about, the reason why I like talking about white privilege is because people think that it's automatically me saying like, oh, this people like they're bad or whatever. Like I'm not saying white privilege, just because you have white privilege is you're a bad person. Just like male privilege, being a man, we have privilege that women don't have. The thing that I try to get across to people is like acknowledging your privilege and then weaponizing your privilege for beneficial things. Cause like, I think that we have to recognize our privilege and then use our privilege to help those people that don't have the privilege. And like, that's the biggest point that I always deal with.
No, for sure. And bro, on your topic point, I don't disagree. I didn't vote for Trump or I can't vote. You know what I mean?
Oh, good. Yeah.
But like even if I could vote, I wouldn't have voted for Trump. Like there's a lot of things that I disagree with what he does, but there's also the same point. I probably wouldn't. I really don't view my points in politics as something that if I were to vote, it would change anything, because in my head, I actually don't think it would.
Yeah.
But
and which, like, I understand your logic. I'm not saying your logic is flawed. I do think that like the flaw is if more people actually participated in electoral politics and actually we had a different form of electoral politics, then we could actually get like true representation. Like if we abolished the electoral college, if we had ranked choice voting and like it was an overall understanding of like what's best for the most amount of people in the country versus like how many electoral college votes you can get, then we could actually see some real change occurring in our country. But like as the way the political system is set up right now, and what I vote for is just harm reduction. Like who's gonna do the least amount of harm? Like that's all I really got.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, bro, I don't disagree with that. Like I don't hate your point of view. It's better to get an understanding from someone that, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, I really don't know a lot about politics. So hearing it from a clear point of view for someone that actually has done the research and understands, it's good to hear. You know what I mean? I'm always up to learning new things.
Yeah. Listen, the one reason why, like I always say, request up if you're a Trump supporter or you disagree with anything on the background is because like a lot of times Trump supporters are naturally just going to disagree with the things that I say. But I do think it's super healthy for us to have like an opportunity to challenge our own school of thought and to be able to push the way that we think and to try to refine the things that we believe. Because if you can't actually defend the things that you believe and challenge your school of thought and critically evolve from that point, then like you're unsuccessful in life. So, you know, pushing back on anything in a healthy way is always a good thing.
Absolutely. And I try to do everything that I do with pure intent. Like I try to live my life based on just doing things with pure intent, pure intentions. And I really hope that's what everyone does, but not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So like I get your point of view and I respect it. I don't disagree with mainly anything that you said. And I'm gonna leave the queue so you can get some more people in here. You know what I'm saying? And
hey, listen, I appreciate you coming up. Again, like I said, it's not always about disagreeing. It's about challenging the school of thought. And I appreciate you coming up to challenge my school
absolutely,
of thought.
brother. You have a blessed day.
Yeah, thank you. You as well. W's in the chat, guys. Also, W's in the chat for Sunny. Sunny sent a $5 donation saying, I'm a lesbian woman and recently had to move back into my very MAGA Mormon and unsupportive parents' house. Holy shit, I'm so sorry to hear that. Thanks, Trump. It's very hard on my mental state, but your lives keep me sane and help me feel less alone. Thank you for what you do. Sunny, you're not alone. Like, I mean that. We're a community here, and I take pride in the type of community that we have, the type of ability that we have to connect with each other, support each other, and actually just drive each other forward. Like that's a huge thing for me. So yeah, thank you for the donation. Thank you for the love, and I hope everything works out. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Hey, please stop spamming about other creators in my live. I'm gonna mute you. Like that's weird for people to come in and spam anything about other creators in my live. It's just weird. So please don't do that. Jay, hi. Are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
Yes, sir.
Trump supporter, disagree, or a combination?
Combination.
Okay. What point do you disagree with the most? Where you want to start?
I feel like I know white privilege doesn't exist in modern day America.
Okay. Tell me how.
What can a white person do that me and you can't do?
Did you hear anything I said to the last person?
No, I actually was in here this morning, but the thing was, like, I ain't gonna lie, I had something to do, so I had to get out the requests. But I heard.
All good. I feel like that question just keeps coming up, and it's super interesting that's like the go-to or whatever. How about this? You tell me why you actually believe white privilege doesn't exist, and versus like what can you do versus what can I do?
Because I could do whatever a white man can do. I can own a business. I can be the CEO of a company. I can have money. I can be rich. I can be a multi-million. Anything a white person can do, I can do. It's not. And people are always talking about drive a vehicle in peace and all that. Hey, listen, I moved out the hood and been living in the suburbs for a long time. My family been living in the suburbs for a long time. We drive around here untouched. Cops don't, and it's not even just because they know us, but ever since we got here, cops don't fuck with us. White people don't fuck with us. This is modern day America. This is not the 80s. This is not the 70s, the 60s. White people aren't thinking about us. White people are thinking about the dog, the cat.
White people are always thinking about us.
Tom and Katie ain't thinking about you.
White people are always thinking about us.
Tom and Katie ain't thinking about Quanisha and fucking Tyrone.
That was anti-black as fuck. Like for you to say Quanisha and Tyrone, that was anti-black as fuck.
What?
Like,
I said that? Tom and Katie. I said Tom and Katie too.
You said Tom and Katie aren't thinking about Quanisha and Tyrone.
So
who the fuck do you know by the name Quanisha? Honestly, do you?
I ain't gonna lie. I've met
somebody named Quanisha.
I met one Quanisha in my whole entire life. Just one.
Stop it. You
just
wanted to be anti-black. That's fine.
How the fuck am I being anti-black for saying Quanisha? I said Becky and Tom.
Because you sitting here trying to perpetuate like some type of stereotypical quote unquote ghetto name. Like
didn't I put a stereotypical white name on them? Becky and Tom?
First and foremost, they're not white names. They're just names. But for you to go
I've never met a fucking black girl named Becky, and I've never met a black man named Tom. What the fuck? You can't tell me a black man you met named Tom.
I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Cut it out. It's fucking weird. And I don't even want to go back and forth with that. I want to talk about the
You're just crying like a lot of the black leftists.
Jay, either you're going to engage or you're going to fuck off. I really don't care which one. Like, seriously. So what I was saying is let's talk about the thing that you said. So you brought up the premise as far as being able to drive around and no one stops you. Okay. Jay, question for you. Would you say that black people are more likely to be pulled over versus white people? Yes or no?
I ain't even gonna lie. I feel like if you in a white neighborhood, you might get pulled over.
Not in a white neighborhood, just period. Not like I don't need like to add qualifiers. I'm just saying in typical, who's more likely to get pulled over?
A black person, but not by the color of their skin, though.
Okay.
I feel like nowadays. Yeah, you're right.
I don't need additions. I'm going to tell you why I'm glad that you said that. So there was an
that doesn't derail my claim.
There was an actual study that was completed that showed with cops pulling people over that the number of black people pulled over during the daytime was disproportionately higher than the number of white people pulled over in the daytime. But then at night, the number of traffic stops for black and white people equaled out. Jay, with your best deductional reason, why do you think that there was such a discrepancy as far as traffic stops for black and white people during the day, but then at night, traffic stops equaled out regardless of the race?
Because they can't see us at night. Because they can't see us at night. I don't fucking know. They probably ain't gonna see my black ass at night in the
I'm not going to allow your ignorance or stupidity to actually stay on my panel. Like the one thing that I absolutely can't stand is a soft shoe tap dancing sambo. And while I may actually debate Blagga or someone who has that point of view, the one thing that I refuse to let you do is be ignorant on my panel. So you can take that shit somewhere else. Like, you can go tap dance and get on your knees somewhere else. You won't do it here. You're literally the person that Harriet Tubman kept the pistol for. What's the answer? Yeah, it absolutely is, because at night it's harder to racially profile people because they can't see people. And so when it's harder to racially no, I'm not Hispanic. I'm just Black. When you can't actually racially profile people, then the officers will pull people over based off of traffic violations, not based off of their race. Does the host always have these get on your knees fantasies? Only when it comes to you. You can absolutely get on your knees for me. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Except for one person responsible for it. Yeah. Some Blacks are worse towards us than whites. Not Blacks, that's weird to say. It's not Blacks, it's Black people. Jay, you can get out of my request. There's no way in fuck I would ever let you back on my platform. Like, you got me fucked up for real. Like, you think I'm gonna let you come up here and perpetuate that anti-Blackness in my space, on my platform? You must really not know who I am. Go find like a MAGA Live or some other white person that'll let you do that and spread that type of hatred towards your own people. You definitely ain't doing that shit on my live, not in my space. And if I catch you in any other space that I'm a mod in, I'm gonna fucking block you. So if you think that you're gonna go perpetuate that type of harm in any other space, especially the white leftists that I'm a mod in, you got me completely fucked up. You really don't know who I am. W's in the chat for K-Lala for the $1 donation saying, just a PSA, felons are able to vote in some states. You're right, I forgot to mention it. I literally forgot to mention that, you're right. Example, Michigan, where I live. If you're unsure, check your state laws. I just hate to hear when people say and use the excuse of their rights because they think it's a blatant felony and they can't vote. Thank you. Yeah, K-Lala, thank you so much for reminding me about that. I apologize. You're absolutely right. W's in the chat for Renegade for the $10 donation saying food for thought. Who benefits when churches lay for lawyers? I'm assuming that you meant pay for lawyers to protect abusers instead of the victims. It's the abusers. It's literally the abusers. Absolutely. And then W's in the chat for Renegade, who sent a $10 super chat to say, yo, I'm white people and the only people effing with me is white people. Let's keep it above 50. Yeah. W's in the chat. Guys, again, if anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background? Born and raised, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background? I think that was a mistake, so I'm going to drop you down. Guys, if you don't mind, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 50,000 likes. Please, please, please. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
I am a Trump supporter.
Okay. And what can I call you, friend?
You can call me Finn.
Finn? All right. Finn, I hear the wind chimes in the background, which they're like amazing. I love wind chimes, but is there any way you can kind of step away from those so we can hear you a little bit better, please?
Yeah, sorry, is that better?
Yeah, it is. Finn, what point do you disagree with the most where you would like to start?
Well, I just wanted to touch on one thing, and I get everything. Like, first of all, I appreciate what you guys do. I watch you guys a lot. Because you guys are actually making democracy happen, and this is what it's all about: freedom of speech and everybody be able to have honest debates and not get all mad and call each other names. So I do appreciate that. So let's get that out of the way. The other thing is that I've been watching, and I understand that like people are calling Trump this and Trump that, and saying he's a pedophile and etc. And because I get that, right? And I understand that what he did was not right. I'm not agreeing with anything he did in that respect. However, sorry, that's my daughter. When you look at what's going on with social media right now, hold on a second, and the lawsuits are going out, and the judge is finding out that there's 500 cases a day of inappropriate behavior on social media. Why aren't you guys
500
banning
cases a day?
They're finding 500 cases a day of inappropriate actions with children on social media, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, anything like that.
Where are you getting this from?
This is actually from the news last night. You can go ahead and Google it from the news. The judge that is looking into this for Big Meta is for the. You're aware that they're being sued.
No, but I found this on Fox Business. And you mean 500K?
Yeah, there's a 500.
Okay, you said 500, so 500,000. You mean?
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say
Meta researchers warn of 500,000 child exploitation cases daily on Facebook and Instagram platforms.
Also on YouTube and TikTok and everything, right? But we're not. But
no, this just says that they're specifically looking at Meta platforms, which is Facebook and YouTube.
But but I mean, you guys broadcast on YouTube too, right? Like I know you do because you guys accept donations from YouTube.
Yeah, so, but again, I'm trying to understand like what's your point? Well, again, this article that I just looked up, they're saying that they're only investigating Facebook and Meta. So I mean, you can bring up YouTube, and I'm not even like pushing back as far as like children being harmed in other ways by social media, but like specifically, this case is brought towards Meta and Facebook and Instagram.
Well, also. I mean, okay, but let's just stop there because I know it's more, but it's okay. We'll just stop there because that's what you brought up. Regardless, that to me seems like you guys would be jumping all over that and stopping using that if you're going to use the platform that he did this one time or 10 times, right?
What do you mean?
You're going to have to stay consistent.
Wait, what do you mean using what platform that he used?
You shouldn't use TikTok or
no. Hey,
YouTube.
Finn, can you go back and clarify what you said? You said using the platform that he used. What do you mean?
No, not he used. I'm saying that if you're going to say that Trump did this, right, then you should also be consistent in not using those platforms to monetize your anything that you guys do. Right.
Okay.
Because then you're just adding to the same problem. You can't just say that this guy's bad but I'm going to use this program that does it 10 times worse. Right?
What do you know about this lawsuit?
The lawsuit? What do I know about it? I know that they're using it. It is being. I don't know the 100% particulars, but I know what they have talked about in the news, which is that somebody has deemed it to be addictive, right? And they were a minor when it was addictive.
That's not what this lawsuit is about.
There's several lawsuits about this, actually.
Well, this lawsuit that you just gave me, the one that we're specifically talking about, that's not what this lawsuit's about.
Okay, that was the one that I was referencing that was in the news, and they had tied it to this. The judges had tied it to this as well.
Sure. So let's actually talk about the information around what you just gave me. The actual literally the Fox Business article talks about the lawsuit that's occurring for Meta and the exploitation of children, and the exploitation of children is centered around improper verification of age, meaning the children are signing up for these actual social media sites and putting in false ages and then when putting in false ages, interacting with people And these people are either finding that they're underage or still interacting with them, not knowing that they're underage. So that's what this is about. And they also talk about putting in ID and age verification, which I'm for. But like, this isn't about the actual applications that you're talking about somehow exploiting children. This is literally an instance of like more protections needing to be put in order to ensure child safety. So like, I think there's a discrepancy in what you're saying as far as someone perpetuating harm versus there not being enough protections in place. W's in the chat for Becca for the $1 donation saying, look at the data for Black families' ability to buy home. Less than 10% have the ability to get help from families. White people wealth gap. Becca, that's exactly right. Like, I talk about that wealth gap all the time and how that wealth gap has continued to grow. Like, that's an actual thing. No worries. W's in the chat for Renegade for the $10 super chat say, I just sold my house for 420K. Nice. And I'm sharing the love with you today as one of my favorite creators for Black History Month. I split up my super chat so I could support, and I got more others. Holy smokes, Renegade. I was wondering why you were going off like that. W's in the chat for Renegade for that super chat, and W's in the chat for Becca for that $1 donation. Guys, if anyone else like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send the super chat and I will read that out. All right. Yeah. So again, the premise of the lawsuit and what I was saying is that they are talking about the lack of protections that are put in place, and they're advocating for more protections versus someone perpetuating harm on children.
Well, they're doing both. So they're finding both of them, as per the news article. Yes, they need to put more protections. They've been needing to put more protections in targeting kids for the longest of times, ever since social media was ever invented. My only issue is that if we're gonna, get mad at somebody for something, you have to be consistent.
Yeah, I think you thought that you had I think you thought you had something there, but you don't, because it literally your point as far as people calling Trump a pedophile and talking about how he's perpetuating the harm of kids in connection with like the Epstein files and all this other stuff doesn't correlate with like a social media app and their lack of safeguards when it comes to age verification. Like, those are two different things.
The whole point of the safeguards are because of like Roblox and stuff is to catch people from making a platform for pedophilia, or schmedophilia, however you want to say it on TikTok. So I think that, until they have those safeguards in place, until they make it 100% safe for kids, by accepting money from these people and promoting them, you're basically just a gear in the wheel. You're gear in the gearbox for them.
Yeah, one thing.
And until they make a difference.
One thing I will say is that there's never going to be 100% safe. Like, I think for you to sit here and think that there's a way to make something 100% safe, that's like illogical. I mean, even
I never said everything has to be 100% safe.
You literally just said 100% safe. Like, those were literally your words. That's why I repeated it. But the point that I'm trying to get across is that. Can I finish my sentence? I'll let you finish. The point as far as safety, while there are protections and safeguards that can be put in place, and I think should be put in place, that is on the actual application to ensure that they're doing so. And then we also have regulations, federal regulations about the government that allows them to step in and demand certain regulations on these big tech companies, but the Trump administration has not done so. The Trump administration hasn't deemed that they should have any type of safety regulations in place. As a matter of fact, the Trump administration has been removing regulations across all sectors instead of actually putting additional safeguards in place. So it's a little hyperbolic, but then also when you talk about the individual, which is Donald Timothy Trump, and the fact that he's the president of the United States versus a tech company where like children are signing up and using false information, like those are still two different things. And then for you to sit here and say that, oh, you shouldn't be taking money from these places, or you shouldn't be utilizing these places like W's in the chat for Swan. I just want to let you know, Finn, like one, like pocket watching is weird. Don't do that. But like number two, the premise that capitalism isn't going to occur in one way, shape, or form, while at the same time exploiting, you know, not only children but people in general, like that's a false dichotomy. Like the entire point of capitalism is actually utilizing either people or resources. So like those two things aren't separate. But it seemed like you just thought that you had like a win or something that you could wave and say, oh, you guys are being inconsistent, when those two things don't even add up.
I'm not saying there's a win or anything here. What I'm saying is that you put money into education of parents so they know how to, you know, properly, you know, use a phone, to use the features on a phone to help to watchdog their kids so that they're not
Donald
using.
Trump stripped away money from education.
It doesn't need to be Donald Trump. It could be the people that make, it could be TikTok, YouTube, any of these platforms.
Our federal tax dollars go towards our educational system, and Donald Trump has restricted regulations and is literally trying to dismantle the Department of Education, which would impact the amount of federal funds that are pumped into
education. But it's not on the Department of Education's job to teach parents how to use phones or properly give phones to their kids.
You just said that's on the you said that we should put money into teaching parents how to use. No, you just said
the companies.
You literally just said we should put money into teaching parents how to use phones. Like if a parent wanted to use how the phone. Why should companies have to put money into teaching adults how to be fucking adults? That doesn't even make sense. Like. Well, as an adult, like you sound, I heard you, like you have a child in the background. I'm a father as well, right? And no one has to actually like pay for me to know how to properly make sure that I'm watching out for my children. No one has to pay for me to ensure, like my sons, one second, my sons love Roblox, right? And so since my sons love Roblox, I don't like Roblox, but I play Roblox with them. I know about what servers they're in. I know their friends. I can see all the stuff because I want to ensure that my sons are safe when they're playing Roblox because I know what Roblox is about. So your emphasis that, oh, someone needs to teach these parents how to actually parent, like, what are we doing?
Well, first of all, I've let you speak and you said your piece. I just wanted to say what I had to, you know, say.
Sure, go ahead.
Retort to that. Now, what I was saying when I meant we as people that are responsible business owners, we are people that actually are making money and having businesses that are making money off of people. Sure, there is a responsibility no matter who you are to make sure that the people that your patrons are safe. You have a responsibility to do that. Every company has a responsibility to do that. You can't just sit there and say that they don't, because every car maker wouldn't give a shit if you died in an accident, right? It wouldn't just take federal regulations to make a J-pin. Like, you have to care about your patrons enough to protect them in the way that they don't see, but you see, because you are the capital, you are the person making this technology that they don't fully understand, right? So yes, you have to be very careful no matter what and take responsibility for the things that you make.
That's literally not how capitalism works.
It is in the sense that you do have to be careful with it. You can't just make things and then hope to God that people don't get hurt.
They make things and they don't care if people get hurt. Like literally, that's exactly how capitalism works. No, like literally the reason why there are federal regulations and telling people how much pollution they can dump into the environment is because if you didn't tell these billionaires and millionaires and like the ultra wealthy, if you didn't tell them how much they can harm the environment, they would harm the environment to the maximum amount for maximum profits. Like, it's not about, we just want to make sure people are okay. It's about making the most amount of money possible. And unless you actually put regulation, not some people, that's how capitalism works.
Not all companies work that way.
Capitalism is self-consuming. Sure.
But not
then
all companies
answer
work
this
that way.
question.
You can't
Answer
say
this
that
question.
100%
Answer
of
this
companies
question.
work that way.
Answer this question.
Sure.
When Donald Trump passed the TCJA in his first term, the most corporations got like a bunch of tax deductions. What did those corporations do with their tax deductions?
I have no idea because I'm not a corporate tax.
Sure, you can look it up. The majority of the corporations actually did stock buybacks and dividend payout to their C-level and board executives. They literally took those tax breaks and gave more money to the people that are already making money instead of actually using that to benefit their employees, using it to actually somehow increase productivity or upgrade facilities or anything like that. They literally took the money and gave the money to the people with the money, because that's capitalism. Capitalism is self-consuming, and without any type of regulations, they're gonna just do whatever they need to do to make the money they need to make. Like, for you to sit here and say that people don't, they worry about harming people, like literally they don't. Like they don't care if their products harm people as long as they make money. And the only reason they ensure that their products don't harm people is because of regulations and because of lawsuits. Those are the only reason. Like regulations and lawsuits. They don't want to lose money, and they don't want to be fined for breaking regulations. And if they can find ways around regulations, then they find ways around regulations. One great example that I just saw last night was there's a Tesla facility that was built in Texas, and the actual facility was built, and there happened to be someone out doing some inspections that were unrelated specifically to Tesla, and they found an undocumented pipe that had been installed and that was flowing from the Tesla plant in Texas. And this actual unregulated, undocumented pipe, which there were no permits on or anything like that, was literally dumping pollution into the Texas waterway. Like literally, Tesla found a way to dump more pollutions so they can pump out more Teslas, not giving a shit about the environment, the people, or anything like that. That's capitalism. That's how capitalism works. And if the person wasn't out scouting the area looking for something else, then they would have never known, and Tesla would have continued to over pollute the area in order to make more profits.
I think I think what you're looking at is very specific companies that could be regulated. Yes, regulation and oversight is needed in government. Yes, Republicans should definitely take up and champion this, especially on social media platforms. Yes, all that stuff is absolutely true. Yes, but I do hold companies. That is the reason why we have lawsuits in this country, is because we can hold them accountable for what they do when they actually put out products without care or consideration to the consumers. Absolutely. We've been doing this forever, right? There is a responsibility level, no matter what anybody says, that a company has to be responsible in the sense that they are not harming their customers. That is just basic.
Hey, why do you think like cars started installing seatbelts in the cars? Do you think they started installing seatbelts because cars used to not have seatbelts? Do you think they started installing seatbelts because like they were cool new accessories, or they cared about the people driving the cars?
No, because they found, because cars got to go faster and faster, and they understood that this is going to be, regulations had to be put in place because these cars were going faster and faster. Mainly people that were race car drivers that were dying. That's why they put seatbelts in, because they saw the restraints that they were using in race cars.
What happened was there was an actual increase in fatalities. And so since there was an increase in fatalities in 1959, there were laws passed mandating the not only use, but the installation in all vehicles of safety belts. And due to that mandate that occurred in 1959, fatalities for car crashes dropped in different areas from ranging to 45% to 75%. Like literally, the reason why safety belts were invented and actually mandated is because, not because car companies saw people dying, is because the government stepped in and said, hey, people like cars and people want to keep driving cars, but people keep dying. You guys need to make this safer. So again, it's not on the actual company because they care about people, because, you know, a dead customer is a customer that won't come back. They don't care about that. Like literally they had to be made to keep their customers alive.
I disagree. When the government
okay, sure.
comes
Give
back
me
and
any
says,
type of
"Hey,"
empirical data that actually
just like
proves
what you
the
just said,
disagreement.
the government comes back and says,
No,
"Hey,
no,
we're
no,
gonna
hold on,
regulate
hold on.
it."
Stop. Give me some type of empirical data that contradicts the actual information that I just shared with you about the law that was instituted in 1959 mandating companies install safety belts, and then the reduction of fatalities due to that mandate. Give me anything that directly refutes
Who
that.
Who did the government go back to?
Car manufacturers.
Right. So car manufacturers. They went back to car manufacturers. The government didn't say, "Hey, we are now going to take over car manufacturing because you guys can't handle it."
No, the government said you cannot make cars without seat belts. They didn't say,
this
hey,
is the study that we came back with.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they did not.
consistent.
No, they did not. They did not go back and say this is the study or anything like this. They literally, the study as far as the benefits didn't occur until after the implementation of the mandate for safety belts. They just knew that people kept dying, and they said that there needs to be some type of precautions where people stop dying from car accidents.
Well, there has to be a good negotiation between government bodies and private companies. There has to be a negotiation between the two, right? They have to.
You still haven't given me any empirical data that directly. Give me empirical data that directly contradicts the thing that I just said.
I'm not contradicting you just because I say I don't believe that what you're saying.
But everything that you're sitting here is just you're literally talking from fifis, but you have nothing to actually back up the things that you're saying.
Okay, sure. I my beliefs in the companies that I run a company, I'm very, very, very responsible for everything that I do with my customers, that my customers are happy, my customers are satisfied, my customers are safe.
You know what the difference is between empirical data and God damn it, I'm spacing on the word, anecdotal evidence.
Yeah, but I can go off of what I know.
Yeah,
right.
But why go off what you know versus going off what you prove? Because what you know is like what you think you know, but it's not like factual evidence. So can you prove something? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. King Kong ain't got on me.
Well, there's a disconnect between big giant companies and private companies as well, right? So like you're talking about big giant car companies that, yes, at some level when they go public and they don't care about people anymore, there's an issue there. There's something that regulated governments need to figure out there. We don't have a perfect system, and nobody said we have a perfect system. But I'm telling you right now, mom and pop businesses that founded our country, right? They care about their customers. They care very much.
How do you quantify care?
By making sure that they're happy, safe, taken care of.
How do you quantify happiness?
Want to quantify happiness by they're satisfied with the experience that they have.
How do you quantify satisfaction?
By feeling they got something for what they paid for.
Can't quantify feelings. So like that doesn't work. Are you saying that you quantify satisfaction by retention?
What do you mean by a customer retention?
Yes.
I guess so. Word of mouth is also.
Are you saying that you have high customer satisfaction ratings due to retention? Is that what you're saying that you have as an individual business owner?
By return customers, by retention, by.
Okay, perfect. Where can I find your data? Where can I find your data?
What's that?
Where can I find your data, your specific data? Because now we can actually dig into that, because everything else that you've been saying so far has been fifis and trust me bros. And guess what? I don't believe you. You need more people. But if you have the retention data that you can share, then we can talk about your personal experience, but without the actual retention data, so we can break down the premise of what you're saying. Your anecdotal story doesn't hold water.
So if like you decide to trust your life on an airplane, right? You don't
trying to give me like another somehow.
No, because there are different, like, look.
Are you going to give me some like example, or are you going to give me empirical data?
So, let's say Delta Airlines, for a matter of fact, right? Delta Airlines has a high safety rating for their planes, and people take Delta Airlines.
What's Delta Airlines safety ratings?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know they have.
Which plane are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about international flights. They have the highest safety ratings.
Which plane? Which Airbus are you talking about? An Airbus? Or are you talking about like a Boeing? Like, what are you talking about?
Overall, in general.
What does Delta compare to other international airlines?
What do you mean?
Where you said that they have a high safety rating internationally? That's fine. But where do they rank? Where does Delta rank against other international airlines?
I don't know off the top of my head. But
so then how do you know what you're saying is actually true?
Because you can't, you're sitting there saying that they're just going to false advertise everything they do. So everybody's just false advertising.
One second. Okay. So this is based off of independent studies reviewing the actual aviation of multiple international airlines, and this ranks for, when was this study? Oh, this is actually, this list just came out. 2026, the safest airlines in the world for international flights. Would you like to guess for the top 10 lists where Delta falls on the top 10 list for the safest international flights based off of the data reviewed in 2025 and recommendations for 2026? Finn, you just swiped out to go look it up. You have to come back in the app. It's not a guess if you go look it up. Finn, I can tell you're off the app right now. Finn, like I literally, if you're trying to talk and like I can tell that you swiped out to go look it up because like it tells me when you leave off the app. And then he just ran. Spoiler alert, Delta isn't even on the list. Delta isn't even in the top 10 as far as safety flights for international. Someone said number 9, no, that's Virgin Australia. The point that he was trying to get across is that like people sit here and vilify Donald Trump for being a pedophile, but somehow we use applications like Instagram or whatever, but like he couldn't make the connection, and then he couldn't make the connection as far as like where safety lies and all. It was just like a whole fucking weird. It was all fucking weird and none of it made sense. W's in the chat for Kel for the $5 donation. And people who have children and also support Trump after this list, Epstein list file dump makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, like, and also they're just wholly disingenuous. W's in the chat for Sonny for the $1 donation saying, why isn't he blaming excuse me, why isn't the blame being placed on the the pedophiles on the app? That has nothing to do with Trump. It just sounds like another case of this person did a terrible thing, therefore it's okay, Trump did something. Yeah, like the whole thing is trying to use that as justification to like not talk about Trump and saying that like we're somehow inconsistent. Like, no, like I know you, like I am intellectually and logically consistent. Intellectually and logically consistent. And so the reason why I say Israel is a terrorist state, Israel is a terrorist state, Bibi Netanyahu is a war criminal, and free Palestine till it's backwards is the same reason why I don't drink Starbucks or I don't eat at McDonald's. I'm logically consistent and I'm intellectually consistent. So you can't sit here and say, oh, you guys call Trump a pedophile, but you use an app where pedophiles like talk to kids. Like, that's fucking weird. W's in the chat for Joe for the $2 donation saying, is he really going to bring up airlines when airline industries is one of the most heavily regulated industries by the FAA and the federal government? He brought it up because he wanted to use an example, but he didn't have shit because he doesn't know shit. That's honestly why he brought it up. Like, period. W's in the chat for Joe. W's in the chat for Michael for the $10 donation saying, Finn needs to get off TikTok and be with that child. I'm hoping that's exactly what he did. Like, not gonna hold you. I'm hoping that's exactly what he did. So W's in the chat. Guys. Guys, I am actually going to call it early because I'm gonna get ready for the victory parade. I'm gonna go check out the Seahawks victory parade, and make sure you're following the backup to the backup because again, I have to go live 3 separate times for 30 minutes to unlock like all the guest features. And I think what I might end up doing is I might go live on the backup to the backup and streaming the Seahawks victory parade from there. So if you guys want to check out the Seahawks victory parade, follow this account. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna stream it from there. And then I'll probably be back later this evening so we can finish up the debates if my mods say yes. So follow this account, follow that account, follow both accounts. And I got to find out, like, I know they started at 8:30 a.m. and then they're also going to be doing a thing at the stadium, and like, it's supposed to be an all day thing. So yeah, I'm going to find where I can get the best spot to see like the parade and everything. I've never went to a championship parade before, so we're going to do that. Internationally, mate. Internationally, mate, what? I'm confused by the statement. Anywho, we're going to get out of here, guys. Be safe. Yeah, absolutely. Listen. They better try Jesus. Not me, because I got hands. And I carry.
You stepped in a box. Now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here. You better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts like lies, get left in shame. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script,
I love you
no
more,
filter,
Tony.
no safe walk. Great stats will get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey, guys, thank you all. Thank you all for being amazing today. I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to get to the backup, but I promise you I'm going to do the things to make sure that we unlock the backup to the backup. No, that's not AI. And we will be back at it tonight. I'll be back tonight. 100%. I'll be back tonight. We'll finish up the stream and then we'll get back active. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Hit that follow button before you get out. If you're over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. It'll help push out the overall live. I appreciate you guys. I do. Thank you all for the gifts, the taps, the likes, the shares. Thank you all for hanging out today. Thank you for the love. I will see you all later on this evening. I love you all. And as always,